Relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving. Hey, please don't play no games with me. I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart. We always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a see the collision, the crash and the distance ain't coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling. They already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play safe. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog. Just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous.
Yeah. Salute ATP. What's really good? We back at it. Salute. Just coming in off a great weekend of boxing, man. Busy day today, man. Moving all around the spot, man. Looks like the feed is good. We're coming in clear. That makes me happy. I'm a happy person. Hold on a second here. Let me just switch up some things here real quick just to get this where it needs to be. So much to talk about today. The space is going crazy. I haven't been on the internet as much as I find like I used to be, or like I usually am. I've been so busy. So, but I've been catching a little bit of I've been trying to play a little catch up and seeing the space is going crazy. Hence, salute to the thumbnail, right? Salute to the thumbnail. Man, boxing is what boxing is, right? And the detractors are going to show up, and I'm hearing all the talk in the street. We'll talk about it today, right? Ring Magazine comes out with a new pound for pound list. We'll go over the pound for pound list, of course. Things change dramatically based off the back end of this weekend's events that just went down. And that's the kind of cards we want, right? That's the significance of matchmaking, and great cards like what we just got this weekend is when the match card like this one legitimately affects the pound for pound list, that lets you know the impact of the card is significant, right? And that's what we want. We want significant cards that impact boxing. We want on the back end of cards that we watch, that the results of those cards affect the pound for pound list, right? The best fighters in the world list. And that just lets you know how great that card was. So I guess once again, shout out to Turkey Al Sheikh, Saudi Arabia, Ring Magazine, Matchroom, Queensberry, anybody in every Top Rank, anybody and everybody who was involved with putting that card together. Salute to those guys, because those guys are trying to contribute to the space in the way that we as fans are going to benefit, right? So we got to talk about that as well, of course, and of course the news, and we got events coming up this weekend and things of that nature. We got so many different things to talk about in boxing. I doubt we're going to cover it all in the show today. How much can you get inside of an hour and a half to 2 hours? But a lot to talk about in boxing, and we can only focus so much energy. That's why I really don't understand how some spaces have time to, focus on the hatred part of it, because there's just so much going on. It's just hard to keep up with as is. So to add that nonsense to your plate is kind of diabolical. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it, and we're going to talk about it all, right? We're going to talk about it all today. What else is going on? I mean, I'm really kind of freestyling to a degree. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, by the way. You could be anywhere, but you're here right now. I know we're creeping in slowly but surely, creeping into the building, but it is Tuesday, news day, and it's 3, we started a little late today, but it's 3:00 p.m. and it's time for the boxing take, right? Time for us to talk about it. Shout out to Big Sarge in the building. Big Sarge in the building says Debo Dev back in the pound for pound, and these guys are tripping. That's what I'm hearing, man, right? That's what I'm definitely hearing. I'm definitely hearing that there might be some issues out here in these YouTube streets, right? Hold on, things have switched up. Things aren't where they were. I don't know. They were one way before. They're not like that anymore. I don't know, man. Is this it? Okay, so it's a new tab. Okay. It is what it is, right? That's what I'm hearing. Debo Dev is back in the pound for pound list, and people are tripping about it. People are losing their whole entire minds about it. I mean, people been losing their minds about that. It's just, and we'll talk about that, because Devin Haney at one point in time was legitimately there to be criticized, and you couldn't even argue with it too much, because at the end of the day, there was a poor performance with Ryan Garcia. There was a weird performance with Jose Ramirez. So was Devin Haney mentally there? We all know what the pedigree was, but we all wondered if he'd be able to come full circle past the whole entire trauma that he went through with that whole Ryan Garcia situation. So there was legitimate criticism there for Devin Haney at that time. But on the back end of that performance that we just saw on Saturday, you got to give Devin Haney his flowers. And this is where the narratives and the actual agenda gets exposed, right? And we got to speak on that as well, as far as Bill Haney exposing the boxing space and speaking from an honest place, right? Shout out to Bill Haney, who's generally speaking been somebody who's dealt with the nonsense with a trolling version of himself, a character that is constantly trolling the boxing narratives and the agenda pushers and the narrative pushers, and he trolls them, right? He uses them because they're easy to use, right? He knows he can troll them, he can trigger them by saying things, and it helps push his brand, his son's brand. A wise man once said, good publicity, bad publicity, it's all great publicity, right? And he understood that and tapped into that energy. But now being over there in Saudi Arabia and dealing with Turkey Al Sheikh and having a financer and knowing that they can actually relax on pushing the brand is what it is, and the money is there. He looks like he's being a little bit more honest. He's a little bit more down to earth and transparent about the reality is, which is what's going on with the boxing space. You know what I'm saying? Where is boxing at to where the people who earn the respect, who get it in the ring, who chase the best down, who don't turn down any smoke, who show improve on the biggest days, on the biggest stages. Where's boxing at when those guys are getting ridiculed, and the people who are falling short of all those things, who aren't fighting the best, who aren't fighting the fight you want, who are ducking smoke, who ain't making the best fights happen, who aren't putting themselves on the biggest stages to where they're being revered and celebrated and things of that nature. Boxing is in a weird space, and it's been in a weird space for a long time. This is something that's been happening for a while. So, you know, this performance by Devin Haney puts the boxing, the American boxing space under the magnifying glass again, right? We've been in this position a couple of times, whether it was with the Ryan Garcia and the PD issues, whether it's with you know, Tank Davis, you know, for whatever, you know, I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? How people feel about it, whether it's Tank Davis, whether it's a lot of different things, right? Whether it's Shakur Stevenson, whether it's Terrence Crawford, you know, attempting to be great and becoming a 4-weight class undisputed champion, or was it three-weight class undisputed champion? Sorry, a 3-weight class undisputed champion. You know, PED accusations, just the instinct and the impulsive nature of this space to show this side of us that's just self-destructive, right? Self-sabotaging. But at the same time, you know, champion trying to keep the space here and keep American boxing alive and all those different things. But, you know, we find so much time to tear each other down. So Bill was just speaking truth to power. We'll talk about that as well. News coming up in the heavyweight division. And we also got to talk about PDs, by the way, in the space, unfortunately. But it is something running rampant on the back end of SUBRIEL MATIAS popping for Ostarine and things of that nature, and having to, you know, pretty much be stripped of his belt. From what I understand, maybe, you know, either it's a vacant belt or Alberto Puello's been elevated in some kind of way. But I guess Puello and Dalton Smith will be fighting for a WBC title. It is what it is, right? So many different things to talk about, man. So shout out to everybody in the building, man. Flexing and stepping in the building says, damn, I got to watch 2 streams at once. Well, I don't know what you mean. Why you got to watch 2 streams at once? Huh? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Elaborate on that, Flexing and stepping. Ray Davis in the building. I see you guys in the back room, bro. Ray Davis and Angela Reyes in the back. We'll pull you guys up in a second, man. Frank Moore in the building says, you pick Norman, give Dev credit. Yeah, bro. I did that the next day. I did that night. I'll do it again today. My thumbnail has Devin Haney on it, saying pound for pound. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Listen, man. A pick is a pick, right? But but at the end of the day, you know, I gave a pick, and I also gave a lot of context to it, right? I told you guys also that okay, I got you flexing and stepping. I put context on it. I told you guys that I expected the best Devin Haney to show up. I told you guys that I thought Debo was going to show up, that the Devin Haney that showed up in those camps, in those sparring wars and them stories that you heard about was going to show up. And I thought that was going to be the best Devin Haney we ever saw. But I told you that I also thought it was Brian Norman's time, that I thought he had the momentum behind him. And, you know, I was wrong. You know what I mean? Whatever it's worth, I was wrong. You know, I thought that the Normans made certain adjustments, and I thought they just needed an opportunity to show the adjustments, and that they were going to show the adjustments. I thought the Quinton Randall fight, the Boho Chica, whatever his name is, respectfully, fight. I thought those were, you know, great learning lessons and opportunities for them, and I thought they were going to be able to build from that, and that we were going to see a better version of Brian Norman Jr. And I thought that better version would be able to show up on that night and get a victory. It was a hard decision to make, you know what I mean? I had to go with my gut on that one. But I'll be honest with you, with hindsight, I probably should have never picked Brian Norman, because on paper there was nothing that Brian Norman ever brought to the table that was going to beat Devin Haney. This was just a choice of circumstance, of timing, that I thought that it was the time for Brian Norman to kind of be part of the conversation, as far as Abdullah Mason, as far as Xander Zayas, as far as David Benavidez, as far as up and coming champions, the next era of of boxers that were going to come into the space and take the space. I thought it was just timing, man. I thought it was going to be a super competitive fight, but I thought at the end of it, Brian Norman Jr. would come out on the other side of it as one of those guys. But I was wrong, and I was wrong really mostly on Brian Norman, right? Not so much on Devin. The only thing I was really wrong on Devin was whether he's going to win it or not. But as far as the performance, listen, man, I really saw that coming. You know what I mean? I told you guys how I felt about that. So it is what it is. Shout out to Frank Moore. Shout out to Frank Moore holding me accountable, I guess. You know what I mean? Shout out to my brother, Flyer Frequency in the building, shooting me the salams. Walaikum salam, Flyer Frequency. What's good with you, family? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Yeah, he said you pick Norman, Clay. Hey, bro, you got to pick somebody, man. I ain't mad at you, man. Eat your crow. Yeah, sure, brother. Yeah, man, I got you, bro. I guess, you know what I mean? Listen, man, you got to pick, man. And when you're not right, you're not right. But I mean, I just ain't tripping as much as I guess somebody might feel I should be tripping. I gave a whole soliloquy on Devin Haney and what was going to show up. I'm sure all of that went away. At the end of the day, the choice was the choice, right? So it is what it is, man. I guess I was sleeping on the dream. Big Sarge in the building. Salute. Said I was a huge Eddie Hearn supporter, but after him slandering Devin Haney for nothing more than him remaining loyal to his father is weird. Hey, man, it's not weird to me. It's the boxing game. There's no real loyalty in the game. And, you know, the reality is we don't know. We just know everything on a surface level. So whatever Eddie Hearn, Devin, and Bill have going on sounds personal. Sounds like there's a lot more to it than we'll ever get to know. These guys had a very, I don't, you know, when I say intimate, obviously, you know, we're in a place in the space to where words mean everything, and everybody wants to allocate words with homosexual energy. So, you know, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and hope that you guys have the aptitude to you know what I'm saying, grab the concept of where I'm going with this. But Eddie Hearn and Devin Haney and Bill Haney had a very intimate relationship, right? Eddie Hearn had a lot of belief in Devin Haney very early in his career and always tried to push the Devin Haney brand. And without a doubt, somewhere along the journey, those guys hit a crossroads where Devin Haney and Bill Haney moved on with their own ambition to be, you know, independent and bosses, right? They went through the same thing. They bumped heads with Mayweather Promotions, obviously. They bumped heads with Bomb Arum and Top Rank. And this is all on the journey of being independent, which is something we have to respect. And I've always respected. And one of the reasons I've always celebrated Bill Haney is because he's always had that energy to be a boss and to be his own machine, right? And eventually anybody who works with Bill Haney has to know that there's a chance that they're going to go their separate ways at some point or another. And it looks like from the outside looking in, Eddie Hearn may have not gotten what he wanted out of the deal. The things that he thought he'd be able to get when he bet and gambled on the Devin Haney brand didn't come to fruition for him. He never found himself involved in Devin Haney's biggest fights. He wasn't involved in the Lomachenko fight. He wasn't involved in the Kambosos fight, him becoming undisputed. He wasn't involved in the Ryan Garcia fight. He wasn't involved in the biggest events of Devin Haney's career. And I guess from the outside looking in, it looks like he thought he'd get an opportunity to do that with Devin Haney, to benefit off the prize fighter Devin Haney, not just the legacy fighter. And hey, man, that's how it rolls out there. So, you know, Eddie Hearn takes you know, he speaks from his point of view. You know what I mean? He feels like the performance wasn't the most exciting performance. And look, he's not alone. There's a lot of people who I heard speaking in the boxing space who wish Devin Haney would have went for the kill or stopped Brian Norman, or you know, they feel like he took the second half of the fight off and he could have done better in that case scenario. And I think there's an argument for that as well, because I was calling the fight. I was watching the fight. I think the second half of the fight was it seemed to be a lead that was being protected a little bit more by Devin Haney. There seemed to be an understanding that he was winning, and he did change the intensity up a lot. But that's part of the game, right? But I think more importantly, what Devin Haney has done is he's shown the whole entire space that he's difficult to beat. Right, that Team Haney is one of the best teams in boxing. That when they put a strategy together, when Bill Haney coordinates a training camp for his son, and they come up with a strategy on how to deal with a fighter, that it's going to be very difficult to beat that team. And that's got to be the most important thing, because like Floyd Mayweather says, everybody's looking for the blueprint, and nobody's truly found the blueprint yet in real time on how to beat Devin Haney. right? I mean, Ryan Garcia is the one who's obviously come closest to it, but it's obviously there's a big asterisk there with Ryan Garcia and his Osterine and him come 3.5 pounds overweight. And people, listen, man, I don't even need to argue back and forth with people as far as picking up the right hand and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, yes to that, but also yes to the fact that that win is not a win on Devin. That loss is not a loss on Devin Haney's record, and it comes with a lot of extra intangibles to it that it is what it is, right? But outside of that incident, nobody's been able to figure out Devin Haney. And you see last night that, listen, man, this kid is the truth, and he deserves to be on a pound for pound list. And we'll talk about all of that as well, right? Let's see here. The Butcher in the building. Salute to the Butcher in the building. What's good with your family? Salute to the Queen, the spiritual ministry in the building. How you doing, Queen? Hope everything is good with you, man. Yeah, Big Sarge says the artistry of boxing is to hit and not get hit, but the narrative that Eddie Hearn is pushing is that Devin Haney doesn't want to get hit. Man, I hear you, man. You hear, you know what I'm saying? And listen, is that a false narrative? Does Devin Haney want to get hit? Is he just telling the truth? I can resonate with Eddie Hearn's position as far as on the other side of risking getting hit. If on the other side of risking getting hit is giving a more exciting fight, Devin Haney will choose to not get hit. And therefore, the side effect of that is the fight not being exciting. And I think that's what Eddie was commenting on, to say that this guy is a great boxer. He's a great fighter. He's going to do, he's going to win, but he's going to win at the cost of potentially some entertainment value, right? He's not really taking the fans into consideration with his performance, which I think is fair to say. And I don't know if I don't even know if Devin Haney would disagree with that, right? Obviously, the tone of Eddie Hearn and the position he's taking, being that it's not making Devin Haney look good when he's saying that, it's going to be taking as him hating on Devin, right? And maybe there's some legs to that too as well. Maybe there's some teeth to that as well. But I mean, it is what it is, man. That's just personal. Whenever I hear about Eddie Hearn and Devin, certain things you hear about in the boxing game, it's personal, right? Like Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. There's nothing fair and across the board that's going to come out when these guys are talking about each other, because there's a personal issue there, obviously. And, as fans, sometimes some of the business is, I choose to take my nose out of some of the things because it does seem to be personal sometimes, man. It is what it is, man. Let me see. Flyer Frequencies, I think you might have gotten a little caught up in the hype, Clay. Okay, I don't know what hype I got caught up in. It is. You might have gotten caught up a little bit. Oh, you're talking about because I picked Brian Norman? Yeah, possibly. You know what I'm saying? I did get caught up in the hype. I thought that Brian Norman Sr. was preparing his son. I really did, man. I really thought that they revisited the things they needed to revisit going into that fight. I really believed it. And I said, but I, you can only speak as clear as you can, right? I said that the changes needed to be there. I even told Brian Norman when I interviewed him right here on this channel that the things that you're speaking on, we haven't seen from your son. Now, I believe that they're there and you've been working on them, but until we see them, we don't know, bro. So we're looking forward to see them. And he even said to me on that interview, he said, that's fair, Clay. That's fair. So acknowledging that there was nothing that I never saw anything Brian Norman did inside of the ring that I thought was going to beat Devin Haney, that I was going to have to take those intangibles, and him acknowledging that it was fair of me to look for those intangibles made me feel like that's what was being worked on. And the adjustments just weren't there. He was smothering his work. He was doing a lot of the issues that I saw there in Brian Norman Jr. in those fights against Quentin Randall and all those fights that he had when he ran those unanimous decisions were right there in our face, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, right? Salute to Joe Johnson in the building. What's good with you, family? Salute, salute, salute. What's up with my guy, Travion 2 Trill in the building? Salute to you, family. CJ Rich Boxing putting some love in the chat, man. $5 chat said lost 300 on it. Heart was with Devin, head with Norman. Shout out to Haney. Hate when a man receives unearned hate. Yeah, you know what I mean? And yeah, shout out to CJ Rich. You know what I'm saying? You had to make a choice. It was supposed to be a competitive 50-50 fight. And just kind of went with the energy. Right, it felt like Brian Norman had a certain amount of momentum he had built up on the victories between, that got him into that situation. But yeah, I was wrong, man. And Devin showed up and I think that's the most important thing, and that's what we're going to talk about a lot today. That's why he's on the thumbnail in that capacity. He is being celebrated, and he should be celebrated, not just for the victory, but because of the journey, what he came back from, right? The issues he came back from. There's a lot of fighters who are going to be faced with the same issues who aren't going to come up the same way Devin did. But Devin showed the heart, showed the grit, right? And showed the will was greater than anything anybody else, any jacket anybody wanted to put on him. And if you can't celebrate that, then that speaks more on your character than anything else. Because I don't think anybody in the world in real time who doesn't have hatred for Devin, but who's a fan of boxing, can look at what Devin Haney did and not just be in awe of it and celebrate him and put him where he's supposed to be. He's earned it. It's one thing to criticize a man where the criticism is legitimate, but anyway, it is what it is, right? Shout out to everybody in the building. Shelton Moore in the building says, Hearn doesn't owe Devin anything, including respect. Hearn is promoting his fighters. Devin Hearn is competition. Simple, 100%. And that's the other part of it, right? That Eddie Hearn has Conor Ben. He has fighters in the same weight class division. He has GSOF. He has fights he's putting together. He doesn't work for Devin Haney anymore, so he doesn't have to sit there and promote Devin Haney and speak of Devin Haney in a way that makes everybody happy. That's a fact. It is what it is. Shout out to Mexican Boxing in the building, says Ryan already found it delusional. Yeah, man, I get it. I mean, unfortunately, the thing about your comment, let's be real, right? You're called Mexican boxing. That kind of makes it difficult to take you seriously, right? Like, you kind of put yourself in a position to where you're kind of on one side of the conversation no matter what, which I respect it. But at the same time, how much credit can I give to it, right? I can't really acknowledge you the same way as an objective point of view. I just kind of, you kind of put yourself in a box, right, with that whole situation. Figure that out. It is what it is, man. And then you come and you followed up with Mexico runs boxing. Right. So salute, man. We always salute to the fanatics and the fanboys, right? You're a fanboy and, a respectable fanboy, right? You own it. You promote yourself as a fanboy. You call yourself Mexican boxing, but don't be caught up in nobody really taking you seriously and just moving past you, right? It's kind of hard to listen to somebody with the name Mexican Boxing One. Call it what you want. Big Sarge says criticism part of the sport, but Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum and Oscar tried to freeze out the Haneys. Yeah, man, they really did. They really did. I don't think they tried to freeze him out. Let's be clear, right? What they said was, there's just a story there that people just have to be honest about, right? Devin Haney made a lot of money, and he made a lot of money based on a few things with different people. Everybody had their own little thing going on with Devin Haney, but Devin Haney's money that he got paid up front was really based on his star power in the future. People were betting on Devin Haney's future, right? Because he didn't necessarily quite check the boxes on. There's an argument there, I think, by some of these promoters, if they were really to have an interview about Devin Haney, to say that we might have overpaid Devin Haney at times, right? Based off of the father being a good salesman, based on our belief in his talent and what he would end up, as far as conversations of him being in the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia, or being, the right dance partner to some of the biggest fights the game had to offer that would bring big pay-per-views and pack out stadiums. So from Eddie Hearn's point of view, those opportunities he didn't get to take advantage of, and he was probably one of Eddie Hearn's, one of Devin Haney's biggest promoters, right? On every platform, speaking on Devin Haney, promoting him on big stages. So from Eddie Hearn's point of view, he kind of probably feels effed over a little bit by the Haneys. He probably kind of feels like when it came down to it, and it came down to recouping on a lot of energy, resources, and things of that nature that I put into Devin Haney, he never got an opportunity to recoup it. So he might feel a little effed over. It might feel like that. And Bob Arum might also feel it a little, to a certain degree, because maybe we don't know what their relationship was like business-wise and how that ended up being, and was that profitable or not profitable, right? Bob Arum has a relationship with Terrence Crawford where he speaks on Terrence Crawford being a loss for him, that he was paying him a lot of money and not recouping it, and hoping that the big payday would be him and Errol Spence or something like that, and he'd be involved in those conversations, and then him not being involved in those conversations when those big shows happen. Maybe he feels like he got the short end of the stick a little bit. So like I said, it's personal, guys, right? We just don't know. We really just don't know what it is, man. So it is what it is, man. We don't know, bro. Shelton Moore in the building. Salute. Come on, Clay. Greatest team in boxing. Wouldn't go that far. Did I say that the greatest team in boxing? I don't know if I said that. Maybe that is what I said. I don't know. But I'm going to say Team Haney has one of the best teams, 100% in boxing. And I'm talking about everything. When you look at Bill Haney, and when you look at the pieces around him with Mickey Bay, and you look at the different the flexibility of Devin's team, the ability to bring in Shane Mosley if he needs it, or Freddie Roach in the building when he needs it, or when you look at his foundation of Zab Judah and Floyd Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather Sr. Devin Haney is a well balanced, fighter because of the people around him. He's been almost like a lab experiment. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what anybody wants to think about the weirdness on how he talks, if you want to think he's soft or not, the reality is he's one of the most well-rounded fighters in boxing. Even with the power he showed against Brian Norman, there's just so many different things. He's one of those guys, man. His team, and it's because of the team around him. It's not that he's such a natural. It's that Bill Haney has shown a great example on how to build a fighter from the ground up. Devin Haney's a great example of that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Salone Bobo in the building. What's up with Salone? How you doing, family? Shout out to my guy Angelo in the back. Let me keep going down. Have I gotten? All right, I think we pretty much. J Pitt City, what's good with you, fam? Bubs 07 said so the knockouts weren't good on the card. Okay. Bubs is trolling. We go. Keep moving past that. It is what it is. Salute to everybody in the building. Let me go ahead and take a moment to bring up the panel today. The usual suspects are in the building. Salute to my guy Angelo Reyes boxing in the building. Salute to my guy Ray. Salute. There we go. Salute, guys. What's good with you, man?
Chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Yeah, man. I haven't been really tapped in all the way, so I'm expecting you guys to kind of get me up to speed a little bit. What's going on? Especially Ray. Ray probably know better than Angelo, but I'm hearing Devin Haney's catching a lot of the detractors are out deep and they talking crazy out here. But first of all, how are you guys doing? Mental health check. How you doing, Ray? How you doing, Reyes? How's everything going with you guys?
Yeah, there's always a lot going on. I think that it's important that we do these type of things, and you do a show like this, Clay. It helps with everybody's mental health, because there's so many other things that you could easily be focusing on as we get closer to the end of the year that's outside of boxing, that's all dramatic. So we'd rather put our energy into the fun drama of boxing right now than all the other outside drama that's going on. I heard, and you'll probably know this more than me, Ray, I know that I keep sending you guys stuff. I'm sending you guys stuff from Japan. I don't even know if you got to watch that film, Clay, yet.
I'm having issues because it keeps bringing me some AI thing for you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see. You talking about with
Inoue, man. He's back. He got a belt again. There's just a lot happening in boxing. There's the whole fight week up at Ben Whitaker in the UK, and it's actually a really, really good fight card. There's like 4 different fights happening on Saturday. Pro Box is included in that. There's one in Mexico. There's one in Germany, dude. It's just it's.
Yeah, is this the Jeet Caballero fight? No.
Caballero's not fighting until January.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just there's again when one of the things that I think we all pride ourselves on when we go on ATP Combat is we're trying to give global boxing news. Right, because it's easy to get caught up in, here's the narrative that mainstream media or boxing media will try to push you, and then that's what you want to talk about. When the truth is, it's like, dude, boxing is global. Inoue's brother just won a world title, which is actually very significant, because if I'm Bam Rodriguez's team after the December 27th Night of the Samurai thing happens, he's gonna fight the winner of Kenshiro Taraji, who was pound for pound number 9 before Devin Haney got in. He'll fight one of those guys, the IBF winner. And once he becomes undisputed, you know what, Ray? I go right after Inoue's brother, bro. You want at 118, you want to create a storyline, beat his brother's ass, and you got yourself a storyline now, right?
That works.
Yeah. So again, I say that to say boxing is global, guys. Let's not caught up in the drama of, oh, Clay, you were wrong. That's ridiculous.
I mean, what it is, though?
It's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, you got to balance it out, because the reality is the community is a community, and they have their interests. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta mix it in. You got to mix it in with the with what's trending, and you gotta bring in the world boxing. You can't force anybody to be interested in something that they maybe not be interested in, but also you can't force them to not be interested in what they're actually interested in. So people look, you just got to balance it. You don't want to OD one side or the other side, because that's when, you gotta find that nice sweet spot, you know what I'm saying, in the middle, to where you're covering things, and it's hard to call it. It's a hit or miss for sure.
Well, if you guys want drama, Connor Ben tweeted out a picture of Diddy and Haney hugging each other, kind of like an AI thing, and then he was talking some smack about it, and then Haney responded. So if that's what you guys want, to go ahead and follow.
Yeah, we know what it is they want to talk about. They want to talk about Devin Haney being they want to talk about Devin Haney being on the pound for pound list. I think that a lot of people who come on this channel are Devin Haney supporters. You got some people who are detractors, and they want, and I think it's fair. Like, they want, okay, fine, Devin Haney was being held accountable for poor performances against Ryan, but they want, let's not half-ass on the celebrating, right? Let's not make it all of a sudden no big deal and just move past it. Let's spend that energy on, celebrating that man the same way we spent that energy, speaking on his shortcomings. And I'm not even speaking about this channel in particular, right? Because I like to think that we're very balanced, and we try to give the flowers out there. But I think the boxing space in general just feels like, hold up, bro. Devin did the work. He did what you said he couldn't do. He showed up where you thought he couldn't show up. Let's not just look past that. Let's not turn that into he's boring. I see like Mexican boxing in the building saying that he's boring. Yeah, but Mexican boxing, get you a fighter to beat him. You know, that's what it's all about at this point. Is get a fighter to beat him, because your favorite fighter probably isn't beating him, right?
Except for they want him to move up and weight and fight Boots and BENAVIDEZ. And it's funny. I didn't mean to cut you off, Clay, but I was thinking about this when I heard Boots' name come up. I'm like, what is Boots? Like, everybody's superhero or something? Because Bud wins, he got to fight Boots. Virgil wins, he's got to fight Boots. Devin wins, he's got to fight Boots. I'm like, yo, why is everybody got to go in the ring with Boots? Boots is minding his business. Why are you gonna put this guy in the middle of something?
No, because he's a hitman. He's a hitman. They did the same thing with Terrence, right?
Saying. Yeah,
they're using him. That's all. They're just using him, and he knows that.
Just like Norm.
Yeah, they're using him, and people just won't get it go. They can't, like, here. Look at Morel Cubano. Salute, family. You know what I mean? I know. I appreciate you. I appreciate you showing up to the channel for sure and supporting. But now you're glazing Claymore like the rest. Good win, but it was not exciting afterwards. Well, first of all, I didn't say it was exciting, right? I didn't say that, right? But he won. He knocked Brian Norman down. People didn't think he could do it. He showed there's levels to the game. He showed that he's going to be a fighter that's hard to beat. But once again, an undefeated fighter, a 3-weight class champion fighter, a former undisputed lightweight champion fighter, the youngest of the 4-belt era, accolades after accolades after accolades. Resume is there. Is he your cup of tea as far as the way you'd like him to win? No, but you can still recognize the fact that he's shown that on the biggest stages, he's going to show up. He's an undefeated fighter on paper. And the closest thing you guys have for a win against him is a fighter who was on performance enhancement drugs, who came into the fight 3.5 pounds overweight. So, and I can acknowledge that the performance wasn't just PDs from my point of view, that it was poor strategy by Devin Haney. It was a horrible approach to the fight by Devin Haney. But nonetheless, the more and more you look at it, the more and more it was Devin Haney falling short to his own capabilities than Ryan Garcia being better than Devin Haney. You can argue however you want to look at it, because at the end of the day, even if that fight was just straight down the road and there was no performance enhancement drugs and there was no 3.5 pounds over and Ryan Garcia just straight up beat Devin Haney, it's still one loss. He's still a difficult puzzle to solve, clearly. So it is what it is. If you choose to go down another road and dismiss it and be like, okay, we're doing too much, it's a bad look on you. I'm just being honest with you, right? It's a bad look on you. It's just difficult for you to get past yourself. You're an adult. Dig deeper. Dial deeper into it and find some maturity about yourself and be able to have this man have his flowers and it not affect you in a personal way. Don't lie to yourself. You're grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a grown up. This man has shown attributes of generational talent. He's probably right now a first ballot Hall of Famer fighter right now with what he's done.
Yeah.
He's on the pound for pound list, right? Yeah. He's on the pound for pound list as one of the best fighters on the planet in the top 10. If you're hating on that, I'm telling you, for whatever it's worth, you need to do a private audit on yourself. You have some, we're on the internet. It is what it is. You have some bitch ass tendencies that you need. You know what I'm saying? You got some bitch ass things about you that you need to address. I'm being honest, right? Like, no matter how you want to look at it, to try to inside of 48 hours of that man doing that, already want to dismiss it like it's nothing is an impulsive issue you have that you have no control over. Because even in the broad landscape of just not looking like a bitch ass, you should hold it to your chest and be like, I'm not going to do it this week because that just doesn't look right. Even though I feel I don't like this dude, but I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to expose myself in that way. I'm being honest. That's how I feel about it. Am I bugging, guys?
If you think about it, Haney's following the formula of what people were saying about Floyd, right? Mm-hmm. At a certain point, then there were it's weird, but Floyd beats De La Hoya, but then what makes him super popular after that is he plays that kind of villainous type of a role, and Haney's already ahead of the game because he's only 27? Did he just turn 27? Yeah. So the fact that, again, everybody across the board, it would be you're just hating if you look at his actual resume as undefeated and you don't say that he's going to make the Hall of Fame. It's like he's already in the Hall of Fame right now if he quit tomorrow.
Right.
Just because whether you like him or not, whether you believe he beat Lomachenko or not, I get it. But if the resume is the resume, right? Like that's how it works. That's how it works. Better
because
right.
If you talk about like who his favorite fighter is, obviously David Morrell, right? So are you mad that David Morrell lost to Benavidez, or right? He didn't get what he wanted to get off as a fighter and become a certain point? I don't know. The question is, why does it matter what why can't you just celebrate the realness of the sport? You know what I mean? Celebrate what the sport's about instead of getting that one person or disrespecting. Because I don't have a problem. If Brian number one, I would have gave him his flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I picked Devin Haney. I didn't give a crap. At the end of the day, on to the next one. You know what I mean? I think Brian Norman is a great fighter. And I think y'all wrote him off so fast. It just shows you that you guys have more hate for Devin than you really did support Brian Norman. That's really what's sad. That's really what's sad. And I think that's taken away from the sport. That shows you where your fan support is of the sport of boxing. It shows you only care about people and the athletes in the sport and not the sport itself. And that's why we are in a generation of boxing that we're in.
Right.
No doubt. Shout out to J Pitt City in the building with the $5, man. Appreciate it. Says people that hate Haney never want their favorite fighters fighting him. Go watch bare knuckle fighting or MMA. This sport ain't for you. It doesn't matter. Don't even go watch bare knuckle because you're gonna do the same thing over there. It's about the man in the mirror. Right. We're in a fallen state outside of boxing of humanity. People have poor character. They just generally do in their lives. Social media has taken you guys into a place to where even off the strength of honor, you can't stand up and be a man. People went to war and killed each other and tried to kill each other and were able to walk away from that. And even in spite of the hatred that they might have had of each other because of honor, because they thought it meant something for their last name, wouldn't allow themselves to fall short of being a man in a moment to give another man his credence, because most people understood that the people from the outside looking in saw right through the guy who was hating. They did. They looked at him, and it was just more honorable to hold that guy up and be like, as much as I hate you, I have to bow down. and be honest with what you did. And the guys who couldn't do that, it was looked at in one period of time as weakness. It was unmanly. And in this space, there's been an energy that's been embraced by the space that's very feminine and very unmanly. And it's been embraced and it's been made to be okay. So you guys can do that. And there's a whole group of you who will support each other and being that way. And you won't call it out for what it is. You won't call out the hatred and the nonsense as being something that's unmanly. So you have no problem doing it. Off the strength of understanding that, like you said earlier, Ray, you said that if Brian Norman would have won, you would have gave him his credit. You know why? Because what would that say about Devin if beating Devin was nothing? So even in the support of Devin, I'm not saying that's why you did, but I'm just saying in the space of you wanting to celebrate Devin as one of the best fighters ever, how could somebody beat one of the best fighters ever and not be in turn one of the best fighters? How can we? That wasn't really all that he did. What? Then who was? You can't separate it. You can't separate the two. So it is what it is. Exactly. Bugs in the building saying something about Tank, but I don't know what it is. I know it's Tank. I'm not reading, but I see Tank in it, and you know he has nothing to do with it. I heard him say something earlier about. So what about Tank's resume? I'm not impressed with his resume, bro. His greatest fights he didn't fight, and that's where it's at with it. That's my personal opinion with it. And that's where it ends at with it, right? But in reality, Tank is in the news not for boxing, right? From what I understand, there might be some video circulating.
No, he was on team. Yeah,
and you don't want us to bring that up, right? So, and why am I saying that, right?
And we're not going to, man.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. But I want to say something real quick, right? Be careful. If you really are a fan of your fighter, when your fighter's not doing what he's supposed to be doing and he's moving around a certain way, stop bringing him up. Yep. Don't do that to your fighter. That's why he don't like y'all. Right? Let's be real. That's why he don't fuck with y'all, right? Because here you go floating his name. Now I'm gonna do him a favor. I'm not gonna talk about Tank. But the reality is if we start talking about him, you're not gonna like what we're talking about, right? Because he's not in the ring. Yeah. Right? And what he's actually in the,
it's not good. He's on mainstream in the news for
you don't want us to talk about.
Yeah, you don't want us to
so you should leave that alone. He's not even fighting, he's not part of the conversation, but you're a weird fanatic, right? Even to the demise of your own. I'm telling you, that's why he don't even fuck with none of y'all, because y'all ain't valuable to him. You guys are a liability to him. He don't know what y'all gonna say, what y'all gonna do, what kind of shit you're gonna put him in the middle of. You guys are like a liability to that man. The worst when it comes to being a fan of that man. You guys are probably a bigger force of driving him out of boxing than my criticism of him could ever be. He's probably not even tripping about that. It's y'all. It's his supporters who sit there and say shit and put him in fights he doesn't want to be in, or tell him he's limited and tell him he's small, or bring him up when he's dealing with court issues, or trying to make and just keeping him inside of the algorithm when he's in a space right now where he's clearly trying to heal, figure his life out, and probably just needs to rest. He needs to rest from the social media space, but you guys are going to keep him alive, and he's not even tweeting. Isn't there an argument, guys, to say that if he's not tweeting, if he's not on social media, is it safe to say that Tank doesn't want to be talked about right now?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure he does not want to be talked about.
Right? But look at the fanboys who can't even dial into that and just let that man rest and talk about boxing outside of him. But we're talking about a space of real critical thinking here that I don't expect. I know this is going over your head, and you're laughing in some fake, arrogant, I'm winning thing going on. It's a delusional space that you're in alone. I can't resonate with you. You can't resonate with me, but I'll speak it because it's my platform. It's not impressive. It's not impressive. It's kind of weak. I'll be honest with you, right? It is what it is. Shout out to Blade Brown in the building with the $5 super chat, says on point, Clay. It is what it is, right? But then you'll go around and you'll say, we're bringing him up and we're hating on him. Meanwhile, here you are floating in the background with Tank's name in the chat, and he's not even in the news for anything boxing. What he is in the news for, you don't want us talking about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're going to try to say that we're bringing him up. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. You know what it is.
No, and speaking of which, again, when I'm passing the channel around, Clay, as you know I do, and share it with the people who don't watch boxing so much that they're really paying attention to it, like how we are globally, I always try to tell them, hey man, just watch the channel so that you can get some education on what's actually happening in boxing. and not the narrative that they're going to be pushing you, right? Shout out to Severe, shout out to Severe Raider who's on the chat today. T Severe, thanks for joining us. And yeah, we are going to talk about the pound for pound list because I was one of the first people to say, hey man, if either Norman or Haney beat each other, whichever one wins, I think they should kick Canelo out and they should put him right in there at number 10. And then everybody was slamming me for it. How are you going to kick Canelo out? Blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? He got his ass kicked out. Hey,
bro.
Back right in.
But I'm sure there's a pound for pound list with Canelo on it out there. But Ring
no, there's like the box rec pound for pound list is diabolical.
Right,
bro.
but
like,
Ring Magazine seems to be the more. I mean, I'm going to bring it up anyway. I'm about to bring up the list, the new list. You know what I'm saying? But that pound for pound list is a good list, but it means something to make it on there, man. You got to earn your way on there. You know, shout out to Bam Rodriguez, shout out to Devin Haney, and shout out to David Benavidez who did the work this week.
Nakatani.
Right. They got on that list this weekend. You know what I'm saying? They put themselves in the right position. Bam went up a spot. He went up from the number 5 to the number 4 spot on the list.
Right.
Devin Haney's on the list. David Haney just got back on the list. And David Benavidez, I think he's somewhere like 8 or something like that, like 8 or 9 or 7.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna put it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it
up for everybody. But yeah, currently right now, it's Terrence Crawford is number 1, Alexander Usyk's number 2, Naoya Inoue's number 3, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, my man, moved up to number 4. They finally dropped Dmitry Bivol down to 5, and then of course Beterbiev to 6. Those fights were so close, and they were high on the pound for pound list anyways. My guy Juto Nakatani is at 7. I think he remains at 7. Shakur remains at 8. David Benavidez remains at 9. And out goes Canelo, and in comes Haney, baby. Just like I said would happen. That's a good list. That's a good list. We can move it around, any way we want to. But I think that you can't argue that those people don't deserve to be mentioned as in the top of the sports right now. And let's not forget again, right? The pound for pound list is the mythical list. The idea of it, it's the idea of it is like saying if Naoya Inoue was as big as Usyk, then I believe blank. Like that's how the pound for pound list works anyways. And if Devin Haney was as big as David Benavidez, might be a pretty good fight, man. I'm just saying, might be a pretty good fight. Might be.
That's a good fight.
Might be.
It will be a good fight, though.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see now. The business of boxing is definitely kicking in to where fighters are going to have to be moved around accordingly. There's the business of boxing. Once you get into these big conversations on these big stages, it's about making these fights happen and what it's going to take to make these fights happen, including the money. Obviously, is always part of the conversation. But of course, what's smart? What route? What's the right order? Right, to do things in to reap the benefits of it in the biggest way, you know. So Devin's going to be moved accordingly. I'm sure he's waiting on the results between at least if he's not waiting, it looks like at a minimum Turkey's waiting, right, to see the results of Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia. There's a story there, and if they can get a title to make it a unification conversation, that makes it even bigger. But if that's not there, Conor Benn is always also floating around. Even though doesn't sound like that's a smoke he wants, but you know, money talks, everything else walks. So you never know what's going to happen. As far as David Benavidez is concerned, he looks like he's made it clear already, right? He's made his plan. He plans on meeting Zurdo Ramirez, right? He plans on meeting him.
We'll see, man. Zurdo might get his ass beat.
I mean, I'm just saying the direction, what he plans on doing. I'm saying, right? What he's going to attempt to do. We don't know what the results are going to be, but what do you guys think about David Benavidez doing that though? Going to cruiserweight and plans on coming back to light heavyweight and you know, defend his title or chase unifications down there when it becomes open. I don't know. I find that jump between the light heavyweight division into the cruiserweight division to be like a 25-pound jump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's a big jump.
No,
right?
it's rough. It's rough because we already saw what happened, right? We saw it with Roy Jones. Right. He moved up, then he moved down. Then he got knocked out. Like, it's not a good idea.
I don't think
not a good idea.
Back down. He can. I mean, I think he's capable because he's young. Roy Jones was damn near 40 when he did it. So
facts.
You know what I mean? So that takes a different toll on the game. Benavidez is a lot younger, so he has some health where he can play around like that. I think it's a great move. I think he can do it. I think he spars and fights a lot of heavyweights anyway. When he's in the gym and he's training, because I think of his natural weight, he's not in the ring with smaller guys and things of that nature. He has a great punch resistance. He surprised me. I mean, yeah, he's got buckled a few times, but shit, he can get buckled by a flyweight. They hit him right. So,
right.
You know what I mean, people think, because of the size all the time. It's not. It's about the punch placement and what you see coming. I think Benavidez has a great chance of moving up and making a contention out of things. He just proves to be. I told you, I was never a fan of his, but I'm clearly becoming a fan. He just keeps proving me wrong, and when somebody just undeniably proves you wrong, no matter what obstacles you see in front of them, they just like, yo, this hurdle's high, I'm going over it. That's higher, I'm going over it. And he keeps leaping these hurdles and overcoming adversity in my eyes. And to me, that's what solidifies the best. They welcome every challenge and they succumb to adversity and push past it. You know what I mean? So that right there says a lot about David Benavidez, and it checks the boxes for me.
Yeah, no, and it was shocking, right? It wasn't like none of us here on this panel said that Yard wouldn't be a tough test for him, because we've been waiting him to see an actual 175-pounder with power that gave Benavidez and Kovalev and all these people a hard time, right? And man, Benavidez made easy. I mean, I don't want to say it's easy work, because it's never easy work, but damn, that looked pretty dominating. That convinced me that we should see Beterbiev versus Benavidez next, because did you guys see how Beterbiev was already calling him out? And Beterbiev's not really a talker, Clay, but Beterbiev was like, I didn't see shit. You ain't shit. Yeah. Let's run it. I mean, I'm translating in Russian.
Right. He's basically saying that. He's basically saying that I can take care of that. That's not out of my realm. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, congratulations on what you're doing, but yeah, I don't know if you want to run that shit with me, because I think I'll bust your shit, right? But I think that's what it comes down to, right? Call it a hunch. I just feel like I'm gonna put hands on you. But I think at the end of the day, at this point in boxing, man, I mean, I'm 48 years old, bro. I ain't scared to tell you my age, and everybody else could keep their age to where they want to keep it at. But we know boxing goes just so much deeper than what these fighters are saying. The business of boxing is the end all be all when it comes to these things coming together, right? And does the business of boxing favor Beterbiev and David Benavidez being next? This is how I look at it. When you see for me, I see David Benavidez as somebody who wants to fight all the best fighters in the world. That's how I see him. I could be wrong. Other people could see him differently. Like, that's not true. He don't want. Okay, me personally, that's all I can speak on. Is I feel like David Benavidez wants to fight all the best fighters in the world. So when you're seeing him moving up to fight Zurdo Ramirez, I think for me, it's safe to say that those avenues were probably touched on, and it seemed not to be ready to happen right now. You know what I'm trying to say? From his team, and to where his team is like, yo, we're not doing that no more, right? We're done doing that. We're done waiting on phone calls, waiting on emails, waiting on whenever you feel like it. When I reach out to you and I tell you my fighter's ready to fight your fighter, are you on the same page with me, with your fighter versus my fighter? If you are, then let's begin the negotiations. If you're giving me, if you're passing me to the voicemail, if you're saying you're going to get back to me, if you're going to say, hold on, okay, we're going to say no problem, respectfully, and we're going to put you over here to the left, and we're going to bring the next availability to the table, because my job is to keep my fighter active. My fighter already played that game. He sat back and waited. He chilled. He was patient. And you know what he got? He got frozen out of becoming champion at 168. He got played, and we ended up having to regroup, recalibrate, and now my fighter is on a whole different energy. And I said the same thing to you guys about Jerome Boots Ennis. Same thing. That's how Eddie's moving with him. People don't want to see it that way. It's cool. But Eddie is on, what's up? Here's what we got. We want to fight. Here's the dates. Oh, I don't know. We want to do this. We want to do that. We got to really, okay, no problem, brother. Next. Rashidi Ellis. 250K. We're ready to rock out. Are you ready? Let me think about it. Let me send you something. Okay, while you're thinking about it and you want
next,
I'm on to the next one. And don't be shocked if when you call me and you say, yeah, I decide I want to take it. And he says, yeah, somebody else already took it. Oh, man, come on, bro. Hey, no, come on, Brandon, bro. Your damn self, Negro. The hell is wrong with you? I'm trying to give you a fight. I'm trying to make a fight happen. We ain't doing that, bro. So when we done with that guy, if that's really what you want to do, if we feel like revisiting, we will. Now, if you want to go and push the narrative that we were ducking and we didn't want the fight, that's cool too. By the way, if you didn't know, we don't care about what those fans say. They're a bunch of idiots. They don't really follow boxing. I don't give a damn what the hell you convince them is going on. We're going to continue to move forward, push accolades. We're going to let history tell the story when it's all said and done about who we were, what we did, what we accomplished, and what we didn't accomplish. F the fan base. Right.
And this to point out what Birdman is saying. Shout out to Birdman for the super chat there. In a way, should be number one for activity. 8 bouts in 2 years. And believe me, man, there are a lot of people globally that believe that also. There's a lot, trust me. A lot of people believe that Inoue, who's like this he's like the Shohei Ohtani for Japan. He's the most popular name next to Shohei Ohtani in Japan. But my point that I want to make, Clay, is what you're talking about. When people don't understand that the way it works in boxing is unlike in the UFC where the pay is the pay, in boxing, there's a pool of money, right? So if you're David Benavidez, because this is the easy narrative. Oh, David Benavidez, you want to move up to 200 pounds? Why don't you fight the best guy? Jai Pataya's right there. Well, you're scared. Now, if I'm Eddie Hearn, or if I'm somebody who understands the numbers, there's probably not enough of a pool of money to fight Jai Apataya and David Benavidez unless Turkey wants to lose the money to do it. There's no profit there, right? It's just loss. So that's the type of stuff Turkey keeps doing. He's losing money to put on best versus best because he's got a bigger platform in pushing Riyadh season out. That's fine. But if Turkey's not putting up the money and then you're complaining about Benavidez going after Gilberto Ramirez, understand that if Turkey's not involved, Ramirez versus Benavidez on Cinco de Mayo weekend will have a certain pool of money around it. The negotiations, when you say it that way, Clay, now let's negotiate. If I say, hey, I'm the promoter for Claymore Rain, Ray Davis, would you like to fight him? If Ray Davis says yes, now we can negotiate where I can say to Ray, this is the pool of money, Ray. Okay, this is the pool. And Claymore deserves X of this pool, and we're going to give you X of this pool. Is that cool with you? And then Ray would then say, is there any other way for me to make money on this? And that's how negotiations work. But oftentimes what happens, to your point, Clay, is, hey, Rashidi Ellis, here's $250K. Oh, let me think about it. There ain't no time to think about it, man. Right. We gotta move the needle. We gotta keep moving while we're waiting for you.
Or negotiate it right there, right? Okay, no, we want this. We want that. Right. And it's a negotiation. And at the end of the day, the business of boxing is always going to be the business of boxing before fans, what they want as far as fights are concerned, and also even boxers as far as what they want. Boxers, what they want can be the foundation. Like, do you want the fight? But once the boxers get that out the way, the making of the fight is a complete business thing. It's a give and take negotiation thing that's happening. And even Virgil Ortiz had to say it in his interview he had over there on Jamel Herring's channel, saying that, listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, this is what I want. But the business of boxing is what it is. And he's letting you know, I don't pull the trigger on that. I give once, you know what I pull the trigger on? Who I have represent me at the table. You know what I'm saying? That agreement that I made puts my mind at ease and rest to say that whatever agreement is made is going to be to my best interest. For me, I'm back to playing Call of Duty, bro, or getting ready for training the next morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with that part of the conversation. So there's not an unwillingness of me to fight. It's called business at the end of the day, and it's above all of our pay grades. We don't really know what's going on behind the door. And even I think I seen Donnell Austin say something a little bit about Eddie Hearns being a pump faker. No, Eddie Hearns is a businessman. He's a promoter, bro. He's negotiating. He's whatever he's doing it in the sense of what's going to benefit him and his fighter. he's not thinking about what we thinking about. That's it. It's not pump faking. It's called business. Listen, man, and that's what Turkey kind of brings to the table that makes everything more of an even playing field, which is why sometimes it frustrates me how people kind of look at that whole scenario. Is like he takes that off the table, right? He makes it profitable for everybody. So that's no longer part of the conversation. Now it's about, with Turkey, it really does come down to, do you want to fight this guy or not? It's not about the money, because he's going to check that box on the money. He's going to get that clean out the way real early. And now it just becomes this thing right here. Are you trying to get that tested in the ring next to the best? Or are you still trying to pussyfoot and lollygag? It is what it is, right? What did you guys think about Bill Haney's at this point? You got a chance to see Bill Haney at the post fight, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. So you didn't see it, right?
Yeah, we got
seen it. I'm just saying, like, I mean, there's a lot of interviews. He did a lot of interviews.
All right, so I mean, he's been on. What do you think about his position after this fight? Like what he's been speaking on, as far as, do you know what I'm talking about? As far as,
I know what you mean.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I think he's exactly where he needed to be. I think a lot of people question thoughts and the coaching of Bill Haney, and I think him really putting it out there, like, look, man, we came to do what we got to do. I had to shut down. I did a lot of stuff. Like him just mentioning, giving praise where he needs to, and taking that acknowledgement of things says a lot. Him calling out Eddie, I don't know if you want to refer to that as well, and Conor,
everything, no matter what it was,
yeah, Conor, and saying that what he really wants is that fight with Ryan. That's he knows where the money is himself. But here's where I kind of didn't really get to touching on the other part with Eddie and Conor. Here, and it ties into this. Here's where it gets me and draws me, is when I'm hearing a guy call All the Yanks Can Get It in his fight a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and then turned around and shows up to the fight in the same presence that he had Eddie Hearn had Boots show up to a fight to go in the ring and call out a fighter. Conor Ben shows up to the fight to call out the fighter, which I believe strongly that was their positioning of being there, and then turns around and says, I'd rather fight one of these two. To me, that was significant, and that says a lot. I mean, I don't know if that was a strategy. I don't know if that's, like, we don't know, right? But I just think that it's sad to say that, the expectations was he was going to call him out to get in that ring because of what he just said. Now, moving forward to Bill seen that, acknowledged it, and then he goes, they're a bunch of chumps. Eddie's mad at him, and I think rightfully so. I think what Bill did, I don't think it was a stab in the back except for the Ryan thing, and that was more of a Devin thing more than Bill, but probably both. Because it became about money instead of that belt that they had, which would have led to that fight anyway. And I think Eddie feels some type of way. It just shows you what we just talked about, Clay, about men being in their feelings. Eddie's in his feelings. Bill's pushing that envelope of letting the world know that Eddie's in his feelings in this post press conference. In his interviews. And he's letting the people know. Conor when he going to get a belt and all that shit. It's hilarious. But, I land my plane because there was so much he said, and I don't know exactly what you wanted me to touch on. So I'm just kind of covering ground.
Yeah, no, let me do the Conor Ben speak for everybody here. It's pretty simple, right? Conor Ben outside of the US is so damn popular. He will fill out a 70,000 seat arena. He makes his own money. He prints his own money without even having to be a belt holder. And he's such a popular name that he already has a fight lined up. I don't know if you guys saw what I sent you, but I told you that it was real. When the Ariel Helwani show, Conor Ben was doing an interview. Shakur Stevenson was doing an interview. He had them both put together. And then Shakur Stevenson said, I want to challenge you. And Conor Ben's not the type of guy who messes around like that. If you challenge him, he will fight you for real, right? So that's happening. Basically, they're trying to tie together is T.O. going to do it or not? Because it's not on Shakur now. It's on the T.O. side. Once that gets announced, hopefully it happens for January. The very next thing that's supposed to happen is Conor Ben versus Shakur Stevenson at 147 in April. Which, if you're Turkey Al Sheikh, that's the type of fight because again, let's not forget that Turkey is a fan. He's a boxing nerd like us, right? He's a fan. The difference is He got billions of dollars, and he's got the Saudi money to be able to talk Salah or whoever into putting money together. So I want to see that shit. If you're telling me in 2026, Clay, I'm going to get to see Shakur Stevenson versus Tio, and then should Shakur win or lose, I still get to see Shakur moving up to 147 to fight Conor Benn. I'm in, man. Sign me up. I guess you want my $450.
Now, what about the Bill conference?
Sign me up.
What about the Bill?
What's that?
What about the Bill question?
Yeah, well, the Haney press conference. I mean, you know what? Look, when you win the way they did and the way they shut a lot of people up, they've been taking so much shit for so long after the Ryan Garcia fight that right now, man, Bill Haney can say whatever he wants, and I'm not even gonna. Right. I'm not. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna be like, Bill, you're right, bro. You're right. Yeah. You know what, Bill? You're absolutely right, because that's the truth, guys. Right? You get to say, "Shut the fuck up."
Right.
If you do what
Bill spoke to something. I mean, I agree with you on that, by the way. But I think Bill, what I grabbed from it was Bill just kind of finally acknowledging why it's so important for him to move the way he moves. And that the reality is that he's been fighting against a system and a weird boxing space and fan base to where we're dealing with a space that won't give a fighter like Devin Haney his flowers no matter what, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to. So taking that into consideration, we got to move him accordingly. We can't afford to play those games. We got to be safe minded. We have to protect Devin at the end of the day.
Right.
And we're not cherry picking, right? So we're fighting the best fights out there that we can get done, right? Whoever is willing to negotiate and put together a fight together that makes sense, we're doing that. But we got to fight those fights in a certain way. And that's why Debo Deb came out so late, right? That's why he came out so late, that Deb was being moved the way he was moving, and he had Deb fight the way he fought against Jose Ramirez, because you guys were saying you guys were throwing him away. You disregarded Devin Haney in his position as far as being on the opposite side of a cheat. You tried to break him down. You gave him no grace. So when he came back, he started to debunk things. We're not going to get hit by a left hook. Don't worry about nothing, Dev. Just do this. Don't worry about the fans. Don't worry about all these other pieces. They don't matter. We got to focus on the development of Devin. And Devin in the big show against Brian Norman showed you that Bill's moves were the right moves. They were strategic because he knew what was most important. What's most important is the development of my fighter. So if my fighter's been through something traumatic, I'm going to make sure he heals from that properly, and I'm going to make sure he's good to go on to the next chapter. I don't give a F what you guys are talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that whole process of fighting Jose Ramirez, looking that way, then coming over here to fight the Brian Norman fight, at the end of the day, Devin Haney's track record is aging. Excuse me, Bill. Well, not only Devin, Bill. Well, I'm speaking about Bill right now. His decision-making skills are aging like wine. You know what I'm saying? Here's where I am with Bill Haney on that Ryan Garcia situation. He got tripped up on that. He messed up there. He got caught up in the hype. He was in social media. He was telling Devin to throw the brick hand. He was telling Devin to fight this fight that wasn't Devin's fight, and he saw what happened on the back of that. So now he's on a whole different energy right now, on a whole different level. He'll never let that happen again. Even with this Brian Norman campaign, you saw how he was with the social media space. He wasn't into it like that. He adjusted. He got more mature in this process. And I just think that at this point, we can and should give Bill his real flowers.
Yeah.
For what he's done for Devin Haney.
That's where I was hoping he was going with it. I just wasn't sure. You left that question so open. Yeah. I was like, man, I don't know where to begin.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Just maybe I should have said it that way. How is Bill Haney's track record aging right now? Now that we've been to this point.
Right. And you know what's great about what you said? We got to remember too that a lot of people didn't want Devin to have a belt. They were trying to hold him away. Bob Arum admitted online that he'll never be a champion. Teofimo said he's not even in the plans of any promoter. You know, Eddie Hearn was fighting for him to get a championship shot when he had that silver belt or the interim title. It was consistently
salute my guy YSM in the building.
What's up, YSM? It was consistently chasing the fact that Bill's always tried to get this guy to the promised land. and they tried to make the fight with Loma. That was avoided for years and years. They tried to make a fight with Ryan when he was the mandatory at one point. Ryan didn't want to take that fight at that turn. So many different angles that Devin always looked for the smoke. He's been calling out Tank the longest. I think out of anybody currently, he's actually called out Tank more than anyone else. So he's constantly trying to make the big fights. And he said that he didn't care. You know, I remember when he beat Loma and they were talking about how big he was, right? And then he beat Bridges. Oh, he needs to go up and fight Boots. Every detractor. You know what Bill said? We'll fight anybody. Man, I got my money on my son. And respectfully, it shows that him sticking to his guns and him being the dad that he is and believing in his son, telling everybody, telling the world, his son runs the business. His son is the owner of the business. I'm just a worker for my son. And at the same time, showing that relationship. But outside of that, my son is my son, and my son's going to respect his dad. So it shows so much in that relationship. Shows so much character to Bill, even though he goes out there and clowns. Because I watch how he runs people through loops, bro. That street game is knowledgeable. He be sitting there and he let people talk. He'll get real old real quick. Yep. Well, let me tell you something. Then run it back to something that has nothing to do with nothing, just to spin you in circles so you look crazy. Bill's a smart guy, man. He does his stuff the way he needs to.
No, so that being said as well, right? Now I want to go into Devin Haney, what's left on the table. I think he's shown himself to be a dog, a great fighter, but there's arguments out there now saying that Brian Norman Jr. did Brian Norman Jr. test Devin Haney in the way we wanted to see Devin Haney tested? You know what I mean? Like, Devin Haney made Brian Norman look bad. He showed that there's levels to this game. But that being said, on the back end of that, giving Devin all the respect in the world for beating Brian Norman, but I wanted to see Brian Norman test Devin in a different way. I don't know that I saw that test because I think Devin just really shut him down early. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense, Clay. But that's what I mean about how, hindsight is always going to be 2020, man. Yep. Like, we can't do that, right? That's why I praise both. Okay. If what we got to witness on that day was Brian Norman Sr., who you interviewed on this channel, who has been interviewed a lot and talked a lot, firmly believed in his heart that they had the game plan and they had the mechanism of his son who's going to destroy Devin Haney. That's why you and me bought into it, Clay. And even going into this fight, you remember, man, I was literally one of the first people to go when everybody was doing the narrative of Brian Norman's going to knock Devin Haney out. I literally was. You can look at it on several different channels. I said, I don't know, man. Haney is really good. The only question I wonder is maybe he should have always been at 147 because his damn body is so big. His frame is so big. And look what happened on fight night. Debo Dev looked bigger than Brian Norman to me. I was like, damn, Haney is a big dude, right? I don't know. Maybe he got taller. I'm not sure.
No, I know he's always had a big frame.
He looked bigger. So anyway, my point is that we can't say, or I'm not saying you, Clay, just in general. We can't do the whole, Norman didn't really test them. First of all, Norman, leading up to this point, was the best 147. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was saying that Norman would have destroyed Barrios, would have destroyed Rowley, would probably knock out Lewis Crocker. So all Haney did is prove how good he is, right? And that's how I'm moving it. I'm moving it as what we saw is how good Haney is. We're about to find out how good Brian Norman is on his next fight. Can Brian Norman do what Haney just proved to us, right? Because he got shocked, just like Devin Haney got shocked against Ryan Garcia, right? But what did Devin Haney do? Devin Haney in one fight, Clay, completely 180 the entire narrative about Devin Haney, right? He went from the dream to Debo like that. So can Brian Norman get it back? Can Brian Norman fight a Rohan Polanco, right? Can Brian Norman fight somebody who Brian Norman will be like, you know what? Props to Devin Haney. He was the better fighter that night. I'd like to get a rematch, but you just saw I just knocked out so-and-so. So I still deserve to be here. I just knocked out Jack Catterall, and Jack Catterall was above me, right? So that's what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to do the whole, Haney didn't get tested. Look, man, Haney is the best 147. He's number one at Ring Magazine right now, 147 for a reason. I give him his props. I honestly can't see anyone at 147 beating him at this point, and that's just straight up name him. Right. Lewis Crocker. The only one guy I might give a chance if it ever happens is Conor Benn, baby.
Yeah. No, hold on a second, but that's not my point, right? What I'm saying is, what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to say is, who can test him, right? The way we want him tested. Brian Norman didn't check the box. He just didn't do it, right? He wasn't able to. He got frozen. He got hit in his nose in the second round. His nose got pushed to the side. He got put down on a knee, and he never came back. He never returned into the fight, right? He was never arguably in the fight in the first place. But after he got punched in his nose, what Brian Norman was supposed to bring to Devin Haney was pressure, and Devin Haney took that away from him.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm making a little bit of an argument for Conor Benn to say that I know Conor Benn is going to bring pressure.
Oh, for sure.
He's not going to be neutralized the way, I don't think so, at least, that he's going to be neutralized like Conor Benn was, like Brian Norman.
Brian Norman? Yeah.
He's coming back hard. He's coming the whole time. He's coming forward. He's swinging. He's jumping. He's not smothering his work, right? He's fast. He's athletic. Is he the fighter? Is it because sometimes chaos is what the game is missing, right? Like Alexander Usyk, right?
Yes.
Alexander Usyk does well against an Anthony Joshua who's trying to match wits with him fundamentally, or Tyson Fury who's a fundamentally sound boxer. But how does he do against a Derek Chisora? It looks different. All of a sudden, the fight becomes, damn, he's trying to handle this wild dude who's jumping all over the place. That's why I said that Fabio Wardley brought some intangibles that made that fight
would be nice.
Fabio and Alexander Usyk interesting. I know people were like, hell no. I don't know, man. The chaos.
No, I don't know, man.
Sometimes it's chaos. Sometimes the fundamentally sound boxer is easier to predict. He sells himself a little easier. You get that timing with him quickly. Inside of 2-3 rounds, you get the timing with him. But that chaotic, I don't give up, you know what I'm saying? Come over the top of the right hand, it just brings another element to the game. And have we seen Devin Haney in the ring with that kind of a fighter? I think the closest we might have seen that to possible would have been Regis and Brian. But both those guys seem to get neutralized early with the sweet signs, right? They got caught up. Devin was able to get in their head, whether it was in the build-up to the fight or inside the first 2-3 rounds of that fight, to the point to where those guys didn't even look right in the ring. They just looked not like themselves, right? I saw Floyd do that to Manny Pacquiao, to be honest with you, right? Where Manny didn't look like Manny when they fought Floyd. Right. It was like, what happened?
Right.
Well, you give credit to Floyd, obviously, for what he did, but there was other things circulating about Manny's shoulder, like whatever. But we never got to, when we seen him in there, for example, with a Maidana.
Right.
That got kind of crazy for Floyd. He had to rematch him. He had to figure out how to get around that. So
or Castillo. Remember the Castillo fight is still the closest one.
Exactly.
Right.
So is that what we're looking for Devin Haney to get involved with next? Is it the chaos? Do we want to see Devin Haney in the ring with some chaos? Because I think fundamentally
you want to see him against a Castillo,
except for a handful of people.
You're asking the question is who would be Haney's Castillo? Is what you're saying? Who's that guy?
Who's going to bring that kind of energy to him?
Who'd you say, Ray? Who'd you say?
Like you got Jack Catterall, but
Jack Catterall's fundamentals.
No, I think he can get wild. We seen him get wild in a couple.
He did get wild.
The Regis fight, he got a little crazy. He got
a little crazy.
He got crazy in Josh Taylor fight like that. Now I'm not talking about the second one. I'm talking about the first one.
Yeah, the first
one.
You
know what I mean? Like he's a guy that can be offset easily and go manic. You know what I mean? You have a few people I've seen. I think I had named him the other day. Definitely Ryan. Rolly is definitely unpredictable, and you don't know what Rolly you're going to get. If you're going to get shelled up.
Yeah, I think Rolly might be
Rolly might be a fun fight at least, right?
You're going to get short bus Rolly, or you're going to get freaking like I'm thinking in the ring Rolly and I'm boxing Rolly. Like you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a freaking like an M&M or whatever you call it. What is that? When you open up the box of candy and they tell you you don't know what you're gonna get, but it's one of those. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know with this guy. You also even have Ryan Garcia, who's already gotten in Devin's head. You know what I mean? The first fight.
Ray's talking about a box of chocolates, y'all. You never know what.
I think Conor Ben would be a super interesting fight.
Yes,
and I think Roby would be an interesting fight as well.
I'll give you one that everybody's gonna go crazy on the chat. Manny Pacquiao would be an interesting.
No, I don't like that fight, man.
That would be a fight just for paperwork, just a resume on paperwork, just to say he had Manny on his record. It wouldn't be a fight that I'd be that excited about. But I think I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Legitimately.
No, I think that the way Manny looked against Barrios,
it's just too basic, man.
They're birds of a feather, bro. They both basic, man.
It'd be the most boring. Let me tell you, y'all say y'all don't want boring fights. That will be the most boring fight ever.
I don't think so.
Yes, because Richard Hitchens is going to try to apply pressure, and when he gets hit, he's going to back off. He's going to fight like Haney from the outside, and they're going to be dancing like some freaking queens on the freaking dance floor. Bro, I don't want to see that, because Devin's not going to take that chance to get clipped by Richardson. And if Richardson gets hurt or hit, and then you
don't think Devin would take a chance against Hitchens to get clipped?
I think if he hurts him enough, yes. But I think when you get them in the middle of the ring, Richard Hitchens is going to take a chance to get popped. He's going to find out how hard Devin hits. He's going to back up. Remember, Richard Hitchens just did an interview saying that they sparred. You never heard him say he beat Devin in sparring. He said it was good work. So what does that tell you? He wants a get back. Here's another thing I want to put into your minds. When they ran into each other in New York City, not Bill and Richard Hitchens. Devin and Richard Hitchens. And he went up to him, he's like, so when we going to fight, Dev? And they said, what do you want to do? And all that energy changed, all that tough talk. Oh, man, we cool, you know. Yeah, all that changed, bro, face to face. All that. So what I'm telling you is, Richard's going to get in that ring. He's going to get shell-shocked. He's not on the level yet. I'm telling you, Richard Hitchens. I think
Hitchens.
I agree with Ray on this one, because Hitchens needs to relax.
That's why he hasn't took any big fights like that. He's not ready for that spotlight, bro. He's gonna freeze up.
Let me tell you what I think about Hitchens. I think Hitchens is not in the right weight class.
Yeah,
I think he's facing his demons at 140, and I think it's stalling his career up. I think he needs to get up to 147 and call it a day. I think at 140, he's I don't want to say he's a scared fighter, right? I don't like talking like that, but he's a fighter who's not as willing to get into the big fights as, because Gary Antoine is clearly a fight that he should be I know for a fact Gary Antoine Russell would fight Hitchens in 2 seconds, and Hitchens is talking about unifications. There's a unification right there for you. You're not fighting Gary Antoine Russell because at 140 pounds, you don't feel strong enough to fight again. You know it is what it is. Exactly. He needs to go up to 147. But that being said, though, I think Hitchens is an underrated, and I think whenever we talk about him in the light of being somebody who's not on that level, I think it's an underrated tonality to it, because I think he's a real good boxer.
He is.
Yeah.
I think he's
he is. He is. No, I like Hitchens a lot. Yeah,
I think he's like Hitchens a lot, man. As Devin and Shakur and Devontae. I think he's of that same cloth. You know why I think that? Because Floyd was messing with him. And I think Floyd.
And he just hasn't proven it.
I think he's proven it. I think I've seen him be a great boxer. The thing is, he hasn't fought the fights yet, the signature fight.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And the reason he hasn't fought the signature fights is because he doesn't feel strong at 140, and he doesn't want to take a loss in a division. He doesn't want to take a loss based off of him not being physically where he needs to be, and that represent pedigree wise where he is. You know what I'm saying? That performance would represent him in a way to make him look like he's not that good. You know what I'm saying? When the reality is he's not physically strong, and he's not able to take punches, and he's not as durable, and he's not able to take the chances he wants to take because he's not a strong fighter when he gets in the ring at 140 pounds. The weight cut is having some real adverse effects on him. In many ways, you got to celebrate Devin Haney for jumping in the ring and being great at in those weight classes where clearly hindsight, he was depleted, right? Clearly, hindsight, his punch resistance was thrown off against Ryan Garcia because of a bad weight cut. Clearly, his weight was an issue at 135, and he was able to compete at the highest level and get those accolades. But then again, maybe Devin Haney might have also been blessed to not be in the ring with the biggest punchers in the game when he was in those lower weight classes. Maybe there was a blessing in disguise for him to not fight Gervonta Tank Davis at 135. Because at 135, this 147 version of Devin Haney, I don't see Tank beating that guy. The 135 version of Devin, I think Tank had a very good chance of beating him. I would have probably picked Tank to beat him. If
we'll never know, will we?
We never will. I'm just being honest. To say that back then when Devin was trying to make that fight, I gave Devin a lot of respect for trying to make the fight. I thought, I've always respected him for that. But if you would have asked me back then who I would have picked, I picked Tank. I'd have said it. I might have been on record as saying that I think Tank would win that fight. I don't think Tank beats this 147 Devin.
And here's a clue to why I think Richardson Hitchens doesn't beat Devin Haney in a great fight and wouldn't make a great fight. Our brother and both mutual friend, Shakur Stevenson, tells the world he will fight Devin. And this is, I know we talked about this. I will fight Devin in a catch weight, 140, whatever. I am not fighting Devin at 147. He is a bad boy. Him admitting
you might have to. You might have to.
Right. Hey, if he does, he does. I'm good for it. But, I'm just saying that, I feel bad because I don't want to force a fight on him that he really doesn't want to take. And I don't think he doesn't believe he can beat Devin at that weight. I just think he knows how good Devin is at that weight, and it's trouble for him. That's why I believe that he doesn't want that fight.
So you just disregarding the fact that he's been asking to fight Devin?
Who?
No. He's saying that Shakur said that I will fight Devin Haney, but I won't do it at 147. Is what Shakur said.
Right.
So I think Hitchens is just trying to get money, bro. He's just trying to get a big fight.
Right. I know. I think you're dismissing. I think he thinks he can beat Devin.
He's supposed to. I think everybody thinks they can.
All right. So he's supposed to, and he does. Right.
But
that's cool.
Can he? Does he really? He's not just
chasing money.
Does he really think that?
On his most.
Well, that's what the question is, right? That's what I'm trying to say. You can't say he's supposed to feel that way, and he does feel that way, but then go into does he really feel that way? Does he or does he not feel that way?
I'm going to give you why I said that. So, in the public appearance, and me doing interviews, and me doing all this stuff behind the scenes, I'm supposed to big myself up. I'm supposed to say I'm the best every single time. But when I'm face to face with this giant and I'm looking at him and I sit there and I look like I'm petrified and I'm trying to play, now I'm trying to laugh and kid a joke with you. None of that. Cause what we gonna fight? I'm just kidding. Like, come on, bro. We can't do that.
I don't know, man. I don't read that deep into those interactions because there's something about those red carpet moments and those cameras being there, and you don't know what kind of
more reason to make the fight happen. That's how they did it.
I mean, how do you make the fight happen? There's a certain amount of we've seen Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia on the red carpet together, smiling and taking pictures with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that red carpet and those cameras. If you have any type of real media training, you keep it as respectable as possible. You don't sit there and you make the moments manageable. You don't get crazy like that. There's a time and place for everything. But I do think that at the end of the day, for me personally, I think Hitchens wants to fight Devin.
Yeah, for the money.
I just believe that. I believe.
Well, Hitchens on his most recent interview, I sent it to you guys too. On his most recent interview, he said that he's going to defend this belt or unify or whatever first. Then he's moving up to 147 and take on anyone. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. You know how he's got this big problem with Eddie Hearn? Because he basically stabbed Eddie Hearn in the back after Eddie Hearn did all these things.
Right.
Well, Eddie Hearn could get rid of him real quick if he wants to challenge Conor Ben. You want to go ahead?
No, he's gone already. He's not with Eddie Hearn. He's done.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying is he would be the opponent now, right? So you want to, you want to move up to 147, go take on Conor Ben, and then we'll find out,
bro.
Because I still believe Conor Ben would beat him.
I don't think he beats Lewis Crocker. I don't think he beats
You don't think Hitchens beat? Okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
Crocker did box, dude, against Patty Donovan. And Patty Donovan.
Let me tell you, if I see Hitchens on anything, it's on his power. That's what I sleep on him. I don't. His boxing is there. He's there. He's there to box. If somebody wants to box with Hitchens, he's there to box with him, and he can win boxing. Where he falls short for me is probably his punch resistance may be a little questionable for what I've seen with the Gustavo Lemos fight, and his power. His boxing is Hitchens is A1 boxing, bro. He's top level boxer. He's there to compete. I'm sorry, that's how I see it, but we'll see it when he gets on the biggest stage. And I think that's why he is very excited to fight Devin, because he's not worried about the power of Devin. He believes it's going to be a boxing match, and he believes he can match IQ with Devin Haney on a boxing level. Once again, when it comes to Hitchens, his thing is he hasn't had the fights. He hasn't had the signature fight. So it's kind of back into that Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney conversation as far as, well, not really, because Hitchens hasn't shown the weaknesses that Brian Norman did early in his career. And I'm not looking at Hitchens needing to fix so much. I legitimately want to see who Hitchens is right now. I just want him to be at his right weight class. I don't want the excuse of being depleted and having bad weight cuts being there. I just want to see him at his right weight class. And then I want to see that Hitchens compete against Devin Haney. I don't think Hitchens needs to get so much better to beat Devin in a boxing match. I think everybody needs to get better, but I think he's shown, if he hasn't shown anything else, that he can box.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's just hard, Clay, because it's been since June. Bro, Hitchens, you won your belt in June. You haven't fought yet. Everybody else fighting. So what's going on, man?
Yeah, tell me.
You know, like
Karen
because of the weight class, man. It's because of the weight class, bro. He's scared. I don't want to
he's
scared. It's so messed up. But Hitchens,
he's gonna have
if you're watching this Hitchens by any chance, try not to take it personal, bro. But we're
not trying to attack you, dude.
Yeah, try not to take it personal. You're very cautious, and you're not as willing as I think you should be to make the big, because I think the big fights at 140 are there for you to make it. And I see you, like SUBRIEL MATIAS was a fight for you to make. You didn't make it. I saw you, bro. Call it whatever you want to call it. You admitted it in so many ways and said it was because of the weight cut and the rehydration clause, but that translates into fear a little bit, right? Just into your lack of confidence in yourself to compete at that level and win at that level, facing the circumstances you are with that rehydration clause. And the same thing with Gary Antoine Russell, bro. There's not even a rehydration clause involved in that fight, because it'd be a unification for his WBA title, and you're not making that happen. Gary Antoine Russell's brother came here on this show and spoke to the fact that they were trying to make a fight with you. The negotiation was there, and you guys did not respond to the negotiation. So even that thing he said on the interview with Najee, saying it never came across his table, brother, I can get the Russells up here and then it'll be a whole nother conversation. I really don't believe that. I'm be real with you. I believe your team, at a minimum, if not you directly, your team didn't want you in the ring with Gary Antoine Russell. He's a big threat to you,
right,
in your state, and he's beating you in the amateurs. So move to 147, stop it with the crazy weight cut,
or defend it, or defend against Delgado, man. That's your mandatory. Or defend it against Delgado.
What he's about to do is Delgado. He's probably about to defend it. He said he's about to have a fight. So that's probably what
that's what I'm saying to you. That's my point. Exactly what you just said. We don't know what to believe out of this guy's mouth. He's selling himself.
You don't got a promoter, bro. I don't know who to believe.
He's selling himself for.
Wait, so Blue Blood. You said Africa's my guy, but he has no interest in fighting Devin Haney without an event. Hold on.
Yeah, that's what Ray's
wait. Let's not.
That's what Ray's been saying.
Let's look at what this is saying here. First of all, at 147 pounds, is there? So are you saying he doesn't want to fight Devin at 147? Because what do you mean without an advantage? I'm being honest with you, right? I don't think he wants an advantage. I think he wants to be strong. I think he just wants to be fully energized. I don't think he wants a bad weight cut. I don't think he has a problem fighting Devin Haney on an even playing field. But I don't think he's interested in fighting Devin Haney weak. And I think at 140 pounds he's weak. But I legitimately think wasn't he trying to make the fight at 140 with Devin Haney? When Devin was at 140, he was trying to make that fight.
No,
he was.
He was just talking shit. I'm telling you.
No, he was trying. Listen,
fight, bro.
I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm just gonna gotta keep it real with myself. I'll leave it to you to keep it real with yourself, right? But here's what I remember. I remember Hitchens trying to not fight SUBRIEL MATIAS in the IBF rankings and trying to exercise his WBC rankings to fight Devin Haney at 140. That's what I remember.
All right, yeah.
Now, people want to say he was faking the funk and he didn't really want that, and he really wanted to fight SUBRIEL MATIAS, or he really wanted to be an IBF title holder. Me personally, I don't believe that. I think he took the IBF title because that's all he could get as far as being the champion. That's what I believe. I believe if he could have fought Devin Haney at 140, he would have rather have fought him at 140 for that WBC title than to be in a conversation of fighting under a rehydration clause against SUBRIEL MATIAS. That's what I believe. Now, you can believe that's smoke and mirrors.
All he had to do was go fight Sandor Martin.
Okay.
That's all he had to do. Get Sandor Martin out the way. He was right there. He didn't want that fight, bro. I'm telling you, he's just talking, Clay. Like, listen, I get it. He's trying to. I'm telling you, he's trying to secure a bag. It's all about the bag with this guy. He knows what his limitations are. Every fighter does. Now, like I said, do I think publicly he's going to say the right things that make you understand that he believes he can win? Absolutely. But then there's a reality. When he gets there, he did. Bro, he was. I don't know. I really can't say it.
Well, I'll put it to you this way, Clay. In your heart of hearts, let's say tomorrow, Richardson Hitchens moves up to 147. I'm relinquishing my belt. I'm announcing myself at 147. Where do you put him, dude? Where would you him at this point? Because I don't think he beats Devin Haney at 147.
I'm not talking about him beating Devin Haney. I'm talking about a good fight here. I favor Devin Haney, to be honest with you. Listen, it's hard for me to go against Devin Haney after the performance he did against Brian Norman. I'm not playing that game. You know what I mean? That would be disrespectful to Devin, but I'm just talking about Hitchens' willingness to fight Devin Haney. And the kind of fight that would end up being if they fought each other. I don't think he has an issue fighting Devin. And I think he believes he can beat Devin.
And I want to be smart about this too, in respect for the Richardson Hitchens. If he moves up, where does he get placed in the
you see it?
Exactly. Where does he get placed, right? Where does he do the IBF jump and he's like the number one mandatory to Lewis Crocker right away? Like, how does it work, man?
Like, where does he go? That's the question that comes really to place. And when he gets there, does he really want to start over to try to gain a championship fight with Devin Haney?
Exactly.
Now he's got to start midway. He's got to start in the middle of the ranking somewhere. There's no way they're going to do that.
If Hitchens goes up to fight Devin, it's going to be predetermined that he's fighting Devin. That's going to be something that Bill and Turkey put together, and it's a fight. He's going up there. He's not going up there trying to make a fight with Devin. If he goes up there, he's making a fight with Devin. That's how I look at it. I don't see him working his way to Devin. If he has to work his way to Devin, if anything, I see him fighting Brian Norman. That's what I see. If anything.
There you go. Okay, great. Fight Brian Norman.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, there you go. I'll take that fight right now.
That's probably what he does.
Fight Brian Norman.
That's probably what he does. There you go. Brian Norman Jr. You know what I'm saying? He gives Brian Norman Jr. another big, Brian Norman Jr. gets another payday. That's a big fight for him. It's an opportunity for redemption. It's a style that's very close to Devin's style, that where if you win that fight, it puts you back. We can go right into that night was a one-off. You just will have an off night. You weren't rested well. The trip, something was mismanaged, but the reality was it was a what's the word? It was an off night. It was a one-off night. You know what I mean? If you dominate Richardson Hitchens.
It was an outlier, Clay.
Yeah, it's an outlier. It was a situation of circumstances, and we can move past that now, see you dominate a Richardson Hitchens and be like, now we want to see Brian Norman against Devin Haney again at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is what it is.
Right. We both know Hitchens ain't fighting no Brian Norman Jr.,
man. Shout out my guy Blue.
I was waiting for Blue coming up.
What's up, Blue?
We're shaking, y'all.
Let me fix that. Let me put this in here. Shout out to my brother Blue Bug Sports TV. I don't never get to really talk to my bro like that. He be so fucking busy.
Yeah, man. Be
over the world, bro. So
preparing for the holidays.
Yeah, I already know what time it is here. I already know it's over. I already know we ain't going to holler till New Year's.
So, Blue, two questions for you. Number one, why is it that Gary Russell versus Hirioka isn't on the Jake Paul Joshua card? So you must know where that is going to end up. And number two, what's up with your boy, man? What's up with Africa? He doing a lot of talking, but I don't see a lot of action, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm hearing that that we could possibly get the Gary Russell. I thought it was going to be on the Jake Paul card, but somebody told me it could be on the Isaac Cruz,
Yeah.
Lamont Roach fight. But that's December 6th. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with that, man. Got Gary, the Russells, they just get the short end of the stick. I don't know if it's just a business model. I don't know, man. But they just can never get it right.
I just think, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I just think, and shout out to the Russells. I just don't think the PBC is the place for you guys, bro. I'm sorry.
It's definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely.
You guys are super talented, and I think you guys are being loyal to a system that's just not.
It's just not loyal to them, man.
It isn't. That's the only issue. I think if you Gary Antoine Russell with Eddie Hearn,
that would work.
He'd stay active, bro. Like it's just
he'd be active.
Like, bro, it's like they always get scraps. Like they can never just get. You know what I'm saying? The big fight. It's always, even when Gary fought Lomachenko, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, they never in fights that they want. You know what I mean? It's always either forced or they on the shelf. Like, bro, I don't get it, man. I don't understand how they continue to allow that. Like, you know what I mean?
They have a loyalty towards Al Heyman, because I remember speaking to Gary Russell about it when I interviewed him on here, and you know, you can tell he has he has love for Al Heyman. He attributes Al Heyman with a lot with what's going on, and I think there's a blindness in that loyalty that's getting him in a very compromised spot, man. They're always on the back end of just like, and I know the conversations are happening there, but is the conversation going to lead to your next move being your best move? Because
they always on the back end on and it'd be tough fight. Like it just be like fights that don't even make sense. Like it's just bogus to me. Like they stay in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about this, right? Anton wins the belt, right? Puello's on the same card.
That's crazy to me.
It should be a no-brainer, right? Rematch unification, right?
Rematch. The fight was so close before. Why didn't it happen? Puello ends up in the ring with Sandor Martin. Brother, stop it, bro.
Right. And Puello end up with Sandor Martin, and we don't even see Anton yet.
Yeah, and then they try to put Anton on the bottom of the Tank Davis card with let's be honest, with the Jake Paul card.
Yeah, and then he's fighting his mandatory. Like, bro, what is going on?
Yeah.
So a lot.
I mean, how is it just? I mean, again, the WBA ain't gonna do nothing about it, anyways, guys. But how does the Hirooka #1 mandatory just get scrapped, and now we don't even know what's going on, right?
Like it's
just bad for Russell, man. It's just bad for Russell
all the way around. Like it's never a good situation for them ever. Never. Like they never in a situation that's positive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
bad, man. He's definitely one of the top guys in there. I mean, it's always exciting to watch that kid.
Right.
So Blue, talk to me now, right? I want some clarity on this topic, that what you came up here for, I think, right?
Right. Yeah, for the representation.
Africa, right? And you know we got love for Africa, right? I mean, that's
my dude.
Brother in arms, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know Blue, you know him on a personal level. That's New York. That's big New York right there.
That's my dude, yeah.
My perception is Africa's in the wrong weight class, number one. He needs to get up out of 140, because I clearly see that he's scared of himself at 140. He doesn't like himself at 140. He don't like the weight cut. He's moving past it. But outside of that, man, the willingness of Africa to make the fights with the Devin Haneys and things of that nature. Where are you at with Africa? Is he all smoke? What's going on?
So my thing with Africa is this, and that's my dude, but I got to keep it 100. He's on the same path as Egabunga. He thinks that he's in a class that he's not in yet. The fact that he just told Gary Anton Russell, you need to level up. Like, he's a level above him. Like, bro, what are you talking about? That's number one. Number two, when I said that he don't want to fight Devin without an advantage, most people may not know this, some people may. Okay, after the Ryan Garcia loss and after the Teofimo Lopez fumble, Turkey Al-Sheikh allowed Bill, because they signed a multi-fight deal, to fight who you want. They said they wanted to fight Africa. Right? This is why Brian Norman Sr. and Jr. was saying they didn't want to fight us. So they was like, all right, give us Africa. Right? Right. So now at the same token, Turkey is saying, well, my people's contacted the Normans, they're willing to fight. He said, all right, well, let us get Africa first. And then, you know what I'm saying? If that falls through, then we'll do Brian Norman. You know what I'm saying? Africa then tells them, all right, we're going to fight, but at 140. Bro, you just said you struggling at 140. Now you don't want to. So that's why Bill did the video with Africa when he was like, bro, what are you talking about? Now you want to fight at 140 because he feel like Devin can't make 140 comfortably. You know what I'm saying? But you saying, I'll go to 147 and fight them. So now they offering you to fight and you talking about they got to be at 140. Why would I drop my belt? Okay, if you don't plan on dropping your belt, then why you ain't fighting Gary Anton Russell with your notification? Facts. You ain't got to worry about the rehydration clause.
Facts.
Right? So this dude is again, and I hate to say it, and if I have a chance to talk to him and tell him, I'm telling him the same thing. Bro, get out the Edgar Berlanga mentality, bro. You think that you are you got the belt? Yeah. You arguably lost to Lemos.
Facts.
Right? And okay, you beat up Kambosos. He was washed, bro.
Period.
He was washed. Okay, so you acting like you did something, you on a level like Edgar Berlanga is this delusional New York mindset. Like, I'm on this level, you got a level and this, bro, what are you talking about? What level?
Yeah.
You don't even have a promoter right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And let me ask you that, since you know him, Blue. Like, what's the deal? Why can't I would think that Richardson Hitchens at this point would be, I don't know, humble enough to just have a conversation with Eddie, just to be like, hey man, I'm sorry, that was a miscalculation, whatever.
You say you get some Epstein files apologies, huh? That's crazy.
Because my thing is this, right? It's like, bro, if that's the case, unify the belts against Anton Russell. You got a history there. Why are you telling this man to level up? Y'all on the same level.
You don't want to fight. That's what I'm saying, right? And I everything you're saying, Blue, I agree with as far as the Edgar Berlanga thing. He's definitely on that bullshit, right? He's just on that bullshit, and it's a dangerous place to be in. But I don't know if he's reluctant to make the biggest fights. But I didn't know also about this whole entire inviting Devin to 140, not wanting going to 147. But without a doubt, when it comes to Gary Antoine Russell, when it comes to those hard fights, those big punches at 140, he don't want no problems like that. None.
Right. So he's saying, "Oh, I'll fight Devin." You did all that, and then Devin's like, "Okay, well, let's fight at 147." Nah, why would I drop my belt at 140? That's why you remember that video Bill did when Bill caught him outside the conventional center, and Bill was like, "Now this dude talking about going to 140. That's man, get out of here, man. Get out of here." And he like, "Yo, let's go to 140. Why can't we go, bro? Why would Devin go to 140?
Right.
He just fought Ramirez. He just fought Ramirez at 144. Clearly, he's not. So why would he go to 140 now? And he's like, "Oh, Devin could make 140 while defend the belt." Like, bro, that don't even make sense. And then he's alluding to, "Well, I don't want to leave 140 until I unify the belts." So what the hell are you waiting for?
T.O. ain't fighting you.
Right.
Right now, if you on that level that you feel like you are and you saying you are, then why don't you tell, okay, me and Gary Anton Russell accepted fight in a heartbeat.
Gary Antoine's brother was already on here and said, he was like, put that pressure on Hitchens. He was on here and was like, listen, man, Hitchens is ducking my brother, bro. He's like, put that pressure on him, bro. The negotiation was there. That man went quiet. He went dark on us, bro. We was negotiating. We were trying to make the fight happen, and he went dark on us, whether it was him or his team, whatever it may be. But I know for a fact, Blue, Hitchens don't want to fight at 140, and he definitely don't want to fight at 140 with no hydration clause. The Devin Haney situation is diabolical to me. I think that's crazy that he would have said that.
Yeah, and the thing is, the crazy part, yeah, he says it on video. He said it right there at the bell, right in front of the
I didn't pay attention to it enough. I ain't gonna lie, I missed it. I missed the 140.
And that's what Bill was like, bro. Why would we go to? He was like, oh man. Then Bill's like, oh man, brother. And he started laughing like, no, I'm just saying. Bill's like, y'all hear him, right? You hear him ducking,
right?
You hear. Right. He like, we ain't going to 140, bro. You know what I'm saying? He like, oh no, why can't you? Like, bro, stop. So if that's the case again, right? You unify the belts then, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about the 10-pound rehydration clause.
Yeah.
At a certain point, though, right, guys, he is going to have to defend the IBF because the IBF don't mess around anyways. They like to strip people. So at a certain point, he's got to fight Delgado or somebody, right?
Yeah,
because I think Delgado
is fight Delgado.
I'm about to say that's what's about to happen. He's about to fight.
Yeah, I hope it does. It's not listed yet, so
that's what he said.
They was talking about it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting ready to fight. That fight is the fight that's going to happen next, and then he's going to 147. What do you think about Hitchens, Brian Norman?
They need to make it happen ASAP.
Yeah, I think.
But again, for Richardson and Hitchens, right? And this is no slight to Brian Norman, bro. You can't keep fighting these dudes that dudes already beat, and then acting like you on their level.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at this point, though, that's his best chance at. That's a good opportunity for him to go up into 147. It's kind of like the same thing with Devin almost, right? Except for that, Brian was a champion. But, if Hitchens is going to go up to 147, you kind of want to give him the grace of having, and once again, just like you said, I'm going to follow it up and say, no disrespect to Brian Norman, but you want to give him, I don't want to say that word.
Stepping stone?
No, I want to say tune up. But,
but I got the perfect fight for him right now.
I was gonna say Tiger Johnson, but
Keyshawn Davis.
I thought about that. Not a tune-up.
I really thought about that. They've been trying about that.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's not what he wants.
He's been talking about Keyshawn ain't gonna turn down nothing but his collar, and he already said he wasn't gonna do it.
No, Keyshawn's at 140, not 147.
At 140, that's what I'm saying. Right now, fight Keyshawn.
That's not a tune-up for 147.
No, but I'm saying. Fight Keyshawn. What? Drop your belt. You ain't gonna unify the belts? Drop it.
Yeah.
Why you gonna fight Delgado?
It's time to go. Yeah, go to Brian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jr. So if you gonna stay there, why you gonna fight Delgado? What do you get out of that? If you ain't gonna fight Anton after that or unify the belt, so then you gonna stay at 140.
You can win.
Right. You want to level up? You want to prove you above everybody? Fight Keyshawn.
Yep.
Yo, you want to show us that you above everybody?
Yeah. Yeah,
fight Keyshawn. Because guess what?
I mean, if you're gonna fight Keyshawn, you might as well fight Gary, right?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, so he's doing all this again. Like, I hate to say it, bro, but he just is like, bro, he wolfing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to put yourself in this conversation with these dudes, but you didn't do that yet. You're trying to put yourself in a conversation with dudes without doing it.
That's a fact. I mean, that's what I've held Hitchens to this. I've had this conversation about Hitchens, you know what I'm saying, in earlier shows. But once again, just kind of seeing the way Devin was able to the way he looked at 147, it was just like
yo, let me tell you something else he could do right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to prove you that dude, right now you got the IBF belt. Go inform Mr. Darryl Peoples. I want to be the mandatory for Crocker right now at 147.
That's what I feel.
Hey,
I
man,
like that too.
I'm down for that.
Like
that'd be great.
And then guess what?
But that's
everybody else is the unification bout.
Yeah,
right.
Devin to come to you at that point.
And here's another thing. Shout out to L Dub Boxing, because this is something I didn't know, and he informed me this. Do y'all know the 10-pound rehydration course for the IBF is dependent upon what weight class you in? So I got the scale. L Dub dropped me the scale. When you go up to 47, it's not 10 pounds, it's 12 pounds.
It's a percentage then, right?
Right.
Is it a percentage?
So like if you go to 54, it's actually 14 pounds.
Okay.
Right. So
it's X percentage.
Oh, so
yeah,
Boots
it's,
has 12-pound rehydration clause?
Yeah. So it's only 10 pounds from up to 140. After 140, it's above 10 pounds. The next day.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I didn't know that either. L Dub dropped me, and I got the scale. I'll send it to you, Clay. I got the scale, so it goes up and up and up as you go on weight.
Okay.
So he go to 147. He can't use that BS 10 pound because it's like 12 pounds.
Right.
And you already going up 7 pounds. So you that's 19 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You go to 147, that's 7 pounds from where you at. And then you add in it's 12
plus
pounds
12.
now.
Plus 12.
Right. Plus 12. That's 19 pounds, bro. How much more you need?
Yeah.
Right.
No, Hitchens, I'm telling you, this move by Devin to go to 147, I've talked to you about this, Blue, and told you that. I mean, I was saying, I remember when Mickey Bay came on the show when me and you were doing your show for like all the time, and Mickey Bay came up there. I said, man, he got to leave 140, and Mickey was trying to sell it to us, and like, nah, man, he can make the weight easy. And we was just like quiet, like, all right, that's what you're saying. I don't know why you're saying that, but we just kind of got quiet on him.
Yeah, and remember, because you know what it is with Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Bay is he don't believe in the whole gaining all that weight in between fights. He comes from the Floyd Mayweather school. You know what I'm saying? So his thing with Dev is stop gaining all that fucking weight in between fight, and you can make this weight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why he kept saying to me, and you remember, he kept saying, if he do it the way I'm saying, he do it what I'm telling him.
Right.
Yeah, because like Sean Porter, right? So Kenny Porter used to do in between fights, they would have a 30-day weigh-in in between fights. Every month he had to weigh in, and Kenny had a limit that Sean could be above, you know what I'm saying? Every month in between fights. It was the same weight, but he would test his weight in between. And they would have, if he was above that weight, they would have mini training camps, you know what I'm saying? To get that weight back down. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's Floyd. Floyd operate like that. You know what I'm saying? If Floyd was above 155 pounds, which is ridiculous because that's only 8 pounds, right? But if he was above 155, getting to 160, Floyd pounding the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna put the miles in. He in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because he want to stay as close to weight as possible. So I'm not having a weight loss camp. You know what I mean? Dev, young, balloon up in weight. You know what I'm saying? And
living his life.
Dev is he living life in between fights. You know what I'm saying? For he getting up there in weight, and then you got to focus on both. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to just.
What do you think about Devin at 147?
Oh man, he looked great, man. But I now y'all starting to see what I'm telling y'all what he does in sparring that I've been seeing all these years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's close to his sparring weight. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he's only going to get better. That was only his first fight there. Once he gets really acclimated there, bro. Again, like I said in my video with Brian Norman, is like they like, oh, it wasn't a whitewash. It really was. The problem is in the second half, Devin just took his foot off the gas.
He shut him down. Yeah,
he
shut him down. Yeah, he's playing prevent defense in the second half.
Yeah,
he just talking to Angelo Ray about that, saying that it was a once. Was it just early today? We were talking. I don't know, but we were talking.
No, it was over the weekend. We were saying it was one-sided, you know, because of the first half, and then the second half.
Right, the second half, he took his foot off the gas, and in reality, whatever Brian Norman won was in default of
exactly. It wasn't forced. It was just right. Right. Yeah. It was just Devin. Right. And so I told somebody this, right? Because people hit me up in the inbox. Oh man, he continued like Max Kellerman said, right?
Oh man,
and all these people, yeah, they just the second half he boring. And I say this all the time: if you're in the Super Bowl, right, and you up 21 points in the fourth quarter, you don't start throwing the damn ball.
You play prevent.
Unless you're Atlanta playing against the Patriots.
Yeah, and again, what did they? But Clay,
but you know what though, Clay, to your point,
you just made a great point because what did they start doing? He was throwing the damn ball.
Yeah.
And stopping the clock.
Right. No. But also, I was gonna say, Clay, to your point, I think again, this is the part that we kept talking about over the weekend, Clay, when we were doing the show, where we kept saying it's the impetus of Brian Norman Jr. and Sr. and their game plan to go get him in the back half, like we've seen other fighters do in the past, whether it's Miguel Cotto or anyone else. And what Devin Haney did was prevent him from being able to do anything in the second half. Yeah. So call it what you want, but that's mental domination to me.
And on top of that, he again, people always talking about his power, and something I didn't respect when Brian Norman said he had no power or it was a flash knockdown. Like, bro, what are you talking about? We've seen you do the stinky leg. We've seen you do the stinky leg.
His nose was broken too. His nose was broke, bro.
But no, and worse than that, we seen him when Devin sat down on punches later on in the fight. He did it again.
Yeah, he was hurting him.
And earlier before that knockdown, early in that round, he checked him with a left hook that had him dancing funny, and that's what made Devin turn up the volume on him.
That's what I'm saying. So to say it was a flash knockdown is ridiculous, bro.
Right, and if the ref didn't stop him from hitting him because of those two belt line punches, I'm telling you, he was out, bro.
He would have. If there was more time in that round, he would stop him. Yeah. So again, man, like I said, man, Dev is all mentality. That's all it is. Like if he wants, he can literally do exactly what he said. I can do what I want when I'm in there. He literally could. It's just on him to, as long as he's defensively responsible, you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he literally, he can be fast and elusive if he want to. He can be, you know what I'm saying? When he sees the punch coming, he could take the punch. We seen Norman land the left hook. He could take the punch. You know what I'm saying? It's all about him not get at times with the Linares fight. This people keep saying this started with, and this is another thing I want to correct people. They keep saying this started with Ryan Garcia. It did not. It started with Linares fight.
Right.
After the Linares fight, when he got caught, that in that combination, because remember what Linares, he was just letting them go. He was sitting in the pocket and letting them go. And in that 10th round, when he got clipped, it wasn't the Ryan Garcia fight. It was the Linares fight.
I'm just saying, guys, that's what I've been saying, right? That my these long-winded soliloquies, I've been telling everybody that this is a Linares situation. And talk to me here, Blue. He revisited that. He revisited that with Ryan Garcia. He tried to die. No. He tried to face his fears with the Ryan Garcia. I'm going to go again, and then he got clipped again. It just now it's compounded like, damn, bro.
He tried to revisit that, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was with Ryan Garcia. In his brain, he was trying to get out of harm's way, but he wasn't being defensively responsible. And so what happened was he was staying in pocket just long enough to get off, but trying to get out before he did with Linares.
He wasn't attacking when he got hit by Ryan Garcia. Exactly. He was backing up.
He was trying to get out, but the problem is he misjudged the speed of Ryan Garcia and the distance. So he kept getting caught with the left hook, because when you watch it in the other rounds, Ryan Garcia was just missing the left, just missing. Like after the first round, Dev went on a tear, right? Winning round after round, just outboxing him. But then what happened? Fool's gold. Remember, he hurt Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
And then he stayed in the pocket too long and bang. Because regardless if you hurt Ryan or not, except for the Rolly fight, Ryan gonna let that left hook go unconsciously. You know what I'm saying? He gonna unconsciously let that left hook go. And Dev stayed in the pocket a little too long, not judging the reach and the distance of Ryan Garcia, along with the hand speed. And when he was trying to pull out, no diddy, he kept getting clipped. And he was getting clipped. The worst part about it is he was getting clipped on the end of Ryan's punches. That's the worst place to be.
Big fact.
Is at the end of the punches. And he kept getting clipped on the end of them. And he was getting dropped. Even remember when I don't remember if it was the second one or the third knockdown. Remember they was tied up. Remember they was in a tie up. And he tried to push Ryan back.
Right. And Ryan caught him with that left hook.
And Ryan caught him trying to get out again. Yeah. Because he unconsciously let that go. That's something that's why he salvaged, he what's the words? Salvating. He's foaming at the mouth to get the rematch with Ryan, because he knows never again. I'm not going to do that again. You know what I'm saying? And he knows Ryan in the rematch that's the only thing he's going to be looking for, because he knows when I catch him, I'm going to hurt him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Dev is going to go forward and smother that left hook,
right,
instead of trying to get away from it. Right. That's the thing that Tank did. Remember when remember in the beginning when Ryan caught Tank with that left hook, and Tank was like, oh shit, he was trying to get out. Remember? And from that point forward, Tank was like, oh hell no, I'm going towards it. And from that point forward, he kept going underneath the left hook, not trying to get away from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The difference is Tank's stature. You know what I'm saying? It made it easier because he's just shorter, right? And a southpaw. So it made it easier for him to see it and to get up underneath it. With Dev, he's a lot taller, a lot more rangy. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a target to hit. So Dev just got to take it on the club. You know what I'm saying? Consistently.
Yeah, he looked real good at 147 pounds, man. And
right.
Going into that fight, and I've talked about this and try to be as real as I can be, on your show, and obviously, over here, just saying that, the question about Devin Haney was a legitimate question. People speaking on, because even I was there. We was there watching him fight against Jose Ramirez, and it was just like, oh, right. But I understood. I gave him grace. I caught hell, by the way, for that, right? I was giving, even you kind of was like, nah, you were like, Clay, nah, he need to kind of show some more than that. I was like,
on the gas. Yeah.
He's getting his legs up under him. Hey, man, he fought. You remember, I was just like, but at the end of the day, after catching all the hell, I had to keep it real and be like, if you're questioning Devin Haney's PTSD, his resilience, or even his ability to take punches, right? It's a fair question or criticism, whatever you want to look at, because coming off of a Ryan Garcia performance and then going to that Jose Ramirez fight, looking the way he did, I was looking for those boxes to be checked. But one thing I saw about Devin Haney in the build up to the fight, and I was saying it here, was that he just looked like, I compared it real quick to me being in the military, looking over into this, I remember this 100-foot drop we had to do into this 30-foot deep pool. And it was supposed to mimic like a ship sinking, and you're evading the ship. And looking down to the pool, and it was like this deep blue color, it was like super deep blue. And the fear, right? But also I remember getting myself amped and my team cheering me on and everybody behind me telling me to go and having to make that decision. And I felt like I saw it in Devin's eyes, right? Like the decision was made by Devin to dive in, to unleash Debo Dev, to the sparring wars. I'm about to bring that to the stage. I'm about to show y'all this other side of me. And I felt like there was risk in that, right? Because now you're going to match power. You're going to risk getting hit. You're going to engage more with the biggest puncher supposedly in the welterweight division. I knew that we were probably going to see the best Devin we ever saw in that fight. I picked Norman to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? I thought that it was Norman's time. I thought that Devin was going to be aggressive and engaged, and I thought I was going to give Norman an opportunity to hit him with a signature shot. And I thought it just was going to be a bad timing thing, but I thought it was going to be the best Devin Haney that we saw. That being said, now hindsight showing that Bill moved Devin, and Bill's decisions age like wine, right? Like he moved him so well, and the team was put together so well, and he acclimated to 147 so well it goes right back into that weight cut conversation. And that's why I want to see Hitchens at 147 fight Devin, because I feel like Hitchens is speaking from a place of being depleted. He's speaking from a place of wanting, like you said, leverage. He's speaking from a place from feeling weakened and playing that game. At 147, I'm interested in seeing how Hitchens feels in that weight class, and I'm interested in seeing what a fight between Devin and Hitchens looks like in that weight class. I still favor Devin to win the fight, but I think it would be an entertaining fight. I know some people think it would be boring or something like that. I don't know. I think it would be an interesting fight. You know what I mean? I think
Devin, very, very versatile. You know what I'm saying? The thing with him and Hitchens at this point is just levels, you know what I'm saying, of experience. Hitchens hasn't been in this type of moment. Dev has, you know what I mean? He faced the adversity. You know what I mean? The best thing that happened to him was the Ryan situation. You know what I'm saying?
He just faced adversity in Gustavo Limo's fight, no?
But not on this level. You know what I'm saying?
Not on this level. I mean,
he faced adversity, but at this level, you know what I'm saying, the crowd, you know what I'm saying, the arena size, all of that, he hasn't faced that. You know what I'm saying? With Lemos, he was supposed to destroy him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the way Keyshawn did.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just the fight itself presented adversity, but and everything to build, like there was no face off with him and Lemos, and you know what I'm saying, press conferences and build ups, and it wasn't like this, like it will be with this. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. And that's why I say I feel like Hitchens is wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you got the opponents. And the difference between, no disrespect to Hitchens and Devin, is that he got the willing participants. With Devin, they wasn't willing. T.O. wasn't willing to play 100%. Ball. Yeah, like everybody's willing to play ball with Richards and Hitchens.
No doubt. Yo, salute to Stock Chasers. Hold on one second. Stock Chasers in the building said, I had no idea you were playing in the middle of the whole build-up.
But Clay, I'm gonna hit you up. I found myself. I'm gonna go back in the chat.
Okay, no doubt, family, no doubt.
Salute to you.
The whole time, no doubt, family. You see, Stock Chasers is shocked that I picked Connor, right? Because why? Because the whole time I was telling y'all about Devin, right? I was just being fair. You know what I'm saying? I was really being fair to Devin, and I was trying to be fair to both of them, right? But I just felt like the timing was there for Brian, but I was never, trust me, if you guys watch me on these platforms talking, you would have, I think most people bet on me picking Devin Haney to win this fight. Most people picked on me because I was more giving Devin props than I was doing anything else. But I ended up picking Brian Norman because I felt like the timing was there. I had this gut feeling that the timing was just there and I was just wrong, right? I was just wrong.
Yeah, we were, and again, like from the beginning, Stock Chaser, this is what we were saying, is all the way from like July when the fight got made, I was one of the first people to say, I think Haney, you know, people need to stop this whole narrative about Haney into PTSD and whatnot, because we don't know what we don't know, and 147 is going to show us a lot, right? At the same time, what did we find out, Clay? We got swindled, man, by Norman Sr., who you had on this show, and you know,
and I don't want to say a lot like that, because maybe it might look like when we say that, like he lied to us, but the reality is we definitely were wrong.
He didn't look as prepared as we felt.
We read the room wrong.
We were told that I mean, even leading up to the fight, he had an interview with Claudia Trejos, and he said, like all the way up, like right before the ring walk, he said the entire camp was perfect, right? If the entire camp was perfect, then what happened? You know, like that's what because a perfect camp means you were getting ready, you were preparing to lose. Like not preparing to lose, but you know what I mean? You were preparing for all of your weaknesses so that you could show your best, right? So that's why when I say we got swindled, I you know, yeah.
Right, yeah, Ayo, Jay Grant, you probably right, bro. Probably was something I ate. No, you know what it was? It was nervousness. I gave in, man, because you know, hindsight, and I just, you know, this is why I love boxing, and that's why we have to be honest with ourselves and not be so absolute. I did my best to be as fair as I could with that take, right? But here's the reality of where I didn't stay true to the reality of what I understood. On paper, being that Brian Norman Jr. didn't do what he needed to do on paper, he should have been forced to prove it in the ring. I should have never gave him, you know what I'm saying, a victory outside of what the facts said. I went against what I normally do. Because normally the way I do it is you have to earn it. Like Terrence Crawford, for example. I'm not betting against Terrence Crawford. If you're going to beat Terrence Crawford, you're just going to have to beat him, and then we'll know. He's done enough for me to know that on paper, he's just a better fighter than all you guys are. So the only way I'm going to pick against him is afterwards, in hindsight, to be like, damn. And Devin was one of those guys who on paper just checked all the boxes. He just was. I was betting on what I should have betted on was the best Devin Haney showing up in front of the best Brian Norman, and how that was that going to look. And I think when you look that way, every time you pick Devin, you know what I'm saying? I really was questioning but at the same time being a hypocrite, saying that I expected to see the best Devin, but still staying with the Brian Norman thing. I really just got,
the other thing too is the eye test, right? Because you were there to watch. But you were there to watch live again when Devin Haney fought Ramirez, and you're kind of like, what happened?
Right, but
there's part of you that's kind of like,
hold on, but I said that the best Devin Haney ever was going to show up. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah,
I really came to that understanding and said that, and I think I just stuck to my guns because I sent, and this is also, shout out to Johnny the Hangout. This is a big mistake I made. I sent Johnny the Hangout my pick on Instagram, and I was trying to stay true to that. I said that in the beginning of the chat, like I was trying to stick with him, but as I was sitting there that night and I was putting it on paper, I'm like,
you really should have picked Haney. Because you sounded like you were going to pick Haney.
Yeah, I'm like, I just picked Devin, but I was just trying to stick to my guns, but I tried to make it clear with my soliloquy that Devin, man, and Devin, and I think this about Devin, and I've thought about it, and I think the best Devin we ever going to see, but I'm going to stick with Connor. I mean, I'm going to stick with Brian Norman.
With Norman, with Norman.
You know what? My gut told me something, and even though I'm shaky with it right now, I'm going to go with what my gut told me a couple of days ago. But that's why I wanted to wait. That's why it took so long to put the pick out there, because it was one of those things where I was arguing with myself as to what Devin what we're going to see. And I think if I really believe the best Devin was going to show up, I don't believe that the best Brian Norman beats the best Devin Haney, because I don't think Brian Norman has shown me enough at his best.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. Well, that's why but that's why we're also asking for Norman to prove himself again on the next fight, right? Like, the kid's not done. Let's not bring it down like he was some garbage fighter that Devin Haney exposed. All that we saw was Devin Haney showed us.
He wasn't a garbage fighter that Devin Haney exposed, but he was a fighter who got exposed.
He got exposed. But to be fair, but to be fair, this is where I'm giving Brian Norman Sr. and Brian Norman Jr. a chance.
Right.
Just like Canelo.
Right.
Canelo got exposed by Floyd, right? But Canelo got better after that Floyd fight.
Right.
So now it's your turn, Brian Norman. You could even say, hey, man, maybe Brian Norman Jr. was just a little too young. 24 years old. He just turned 25. He didn't have the same experience that Devin Haney had. So now let's see, right? I wouldn't mind seeing Richardson Hitchens versus Brian Norman Jr. That'd be great. I don't know if they'd take that, right? But let's say Brian Norman Jr. beats a Tiger Johnson. That's the style. If he beats a Tiger Johnson,
it's close.
That's the style. That's close to the style,
if he beats
right?
Tiger Johnson, he's a great boxer. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the best ones in the division. It doesn't necessarily redeem the Devin performance,
but it shows that he can be better.
Yeah,
right. Because if let's say he beats Polanco, right? Polanco's closer in the rankings to him, but I don't know if that'll necessarily be a boxing match more than that might be a.
No, that'll be a Giovanni Santillán 2.0. It'll be a good fight. Right. It'll be a good fight.
So that's why we're trying to find boxers like a Richardson Hitchens, right? Step up then and do that. But no, man, at the end of the day, y'all need to stop messing with Clay and saying he ate crow. He didn't eat nothing. He just had to pick somebody, and he just happened to pick Norman.
Yeah, I just stuck with my guns, but I really tried my best to be true to like I said in that whole soliloquy, I really was trying to be honest about what I really expected about Devin Haney going, and I think I was right about that. You know what I mean? Just I picked Brian Norman just to stay with my pick because I had told Johnny at the hangout what I was going to pick, so I was trying to stay true to it.
You just
But I tried my best.
You should have really stuck to what your words were saying.
Right.
What your words were saying. Right. You wanted the other girl, man.
Yeah, if you heard it, you guys go back.
The girl. You went to the prom with the wrong girl.
Yeah.
while you were dancing with the girl that you brought to the prom, you were actually eyeing the other chick that you really wanted to bring to the prom.
Right? Like I think if you guys go back into the history and watch what I was saying, you'll see that I was picking Devin. You feel me?
Yeah.
If you pay attention, you know what I mean? But I was going to the prom with Brian Norman. Because I already had said I was, you know what I'm saying? But
you already promised Brian Norman you were taking it to the prom, bro.
I was telling y'all low key, Devin's going, you know what I mean? Devin's probably going to do his thing. I knew Devin was going to do his thing, but regardless, I thought Brian Norman was going to at least compete.
Yeah, better. I think that was the biggest shock, was that where was the competition?
Yeah.
Especially on the back end, no adjustment. You know, there was, I think that's what threw me off is, where were the adjustments?
Exactly.
Right? Where were the adjustments?
Stock chasers, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, you know what I'm saying, when I picked Brian Norman, and I was ready to lose. I didn't put no money on that bet, right?
Yeah.
Where I was at with it. But what I wanted to see at least was that man compete better than he did, bro. I was ready to be like, he lost, but damn, man, Brian Norman, bro. I was supporting, bro. Right. I was trying to see you do something special, but he just really, it was a letdown. I'm not gonna lie, it was a letdown.
It was disappointing. It was disappointing for sure. But hey, man, life moves on. 147 looks great. Welterweight division might actually become a glamour division again, so we'll see. A lot of boxing that is happening this week. Again, I'm sure. So
I don't think Hitchens beats him, Big Star. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I'm a spirit gang. I definitely don't think Hitchens is going to beat Devin Haney. I said it's going to be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be honest with you. I don't see me picking against Devin Haney against
anybody at 147 at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Except again, I'm going to stick to me and say Conor.
You're going to be true Conor, but I'm definitely not picking Conor on that one. Yeah, I'm not picking against Devin. It's going to be hard. Devin's almost on Terrence Crawford level as far as you got to show me.
Yeah, you got to.
Right. Like you got to show me. You got to beat him, and I'm not picking against. I don't see it. Maybe like a Boots would have me.
But then Boots ain't going back down to 47.
Conflicted. I'd be like, damn, bro. I'll be conflicted, but nobody else. Only somebody real. And Shakur and him.
If Shakur beats Conor.
Yeah.
Think about that. If Shakur moves up to 47 and beats Conor, now you got something. Because the narrative of, well, Shakur's not big enough. Well, dude, you just beat a dude that came all the way down from 160. Yeah. You are big enough. You can handle Haney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, now that becomes a bigger fight. But no, you're right, man. When we look across the board, I don't see Devin Haney beating Crocker. I don't see him beating Rowley. I don't see him beating Barrios. I guess we have to wait and see if Ryan Garcia improves or not. Right?
Facts of people say, nah, Claymore's delusional comparing to Bud. Listen what I'm saying to you, right? He's not Terrence Bud Crawford and Devin Haney are two different fighters, right? But they're in the same status to me in one opinion in my mind. For me in boxing, they're one of a few fighters, right? Shakur Stevenson is one. Devin Haney's entered into that conversation. Terrence Crawford, Bam Rodriguez, David Benavidez to a degree. He's not all the way there with me yet because I don't know about this cruiserweight move he's making right now. I think he gets in with Jal Batai. He's gonna have issues, but we'll see. But certain fighters are so good, you're just gonna have to. It's gonna be very hard. If Shakur Stevenson gets in the ring right now with Conor Benn, I'm picking Shakur, bro. I don't care about the weight difference. I don't care about the power. I don't care about just Shakur is nice like that. You're just gonna have to beat him.
That's true.
And it is what it is. True. I just think he's gonna find a way to win. He's going to find a win when the bell is done and the decision comes in. Shakur hands goes up. Good fight, bad fight, however you want to look at it.
That's true.
That's true. Devin's in that conversation for me right now, unless he's against somebody real special, like I said, like a Jerron Boots Ennis, a Shakur Stevenson. You know, I'm talking about generational talent is, and even then, I'm not picking against him. I'm just gonna have a hard time making a pick. It's not gonna be. It's gonna like, I might not even make a pick. I might just be like, let the best man win. But Devin's in that conversation now where I don't see. I think 9 out of 10 fighters fall in front of him.
Right.
Period.
Right. Well, definitely at 147 again. It'll be a wait and see for now.
Sure.
Yeah. It'll be a wait and see for now. And like I said, in the meantime, boxing is in a great place. I was going to ask Clay before we go, how are you doing the show this week? Because it's Thanksgiving, man, on Thursday. Or are you just you're gonna do the?
I'm probably gonna do the show on Thursday. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I know everybody else does.
I know, but there's a lot of people that do. Okay. All right.
I don't care about Thanksgiving.
So Thursday at noon, noon Pacific time, 3:00 Eastern time.
Yeah.
The show will be back on. All right.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. Well, there's definitely a lot of things that needs to be touched upon, like Ben Whitaker's fight coming up on Saturday, and we heard about the Jared Anderson. Did you hear
about Frank Sanchez and
Jared Anderson? I sent you that one. And first of all, do I know yet if Jared Anderson accepted it? And when I sent you guys the message, what I said is, well, I guess we're gonna find out if he really wants to continue boxing or not.
No, that's exactly what I thought of when I saw it on Instagram. And I was like, okay, well, look, man, shout out to Toledo Trice. Obviously, he came to mind as soon as I seen it.
Yeah, shout out to Toledo Trice.
Yeah, I know that's one of his Ohio fighters that he represented. And I was like, okay, there it is for Jared. Like, that's a move right there. That's a match. That's a style of matchmaking that I think Jared can win. I think that's up his alley as far as the kind of fighter he is. I think
there's a question to be said, and then I'll say this too. You guys got to go all the way back to 2024. When Caballel was fighting Frank Sanchez, Sanchez had a messed up knee, which showed in the fight. So the question was always, if Frank Sanchez got to fight Caballel with no injuries, how would that fight have turned out, right? Since then, Caballel has gotten himself to the position where he could already, after he defends again on January, he could fight Usyk. In the meantime, Sanchez had to work himself back up, right? He won that fight in Mexico. He built himself. So now as an IBF eliminator, we get to find out, is Jared Anderson the best American prospect we got? Because he needs to beat someone like a Frank Sanchez who wouldn't be a gimme fight. And honestly, Clay, I'm sorry to say it, man, I think Frank Sanchez beats him. If it's the Jared Anderson that we saw in the last fight where he didn't even look like he wanted to be in the ring, I think Frank Sanchez beats him, bro. If it's the Jared Anderson that everybody always wanted to see, the guy that was supposed to be the next great American heavyweight, then I expect Frank Sanchez to end him worse than Caballel. I mean, I expect Jared Anderson to end Frank Sanchez worse than Caballel did it.
I think Jared Anderson has always shown me holes in his game. I think Frank Sanchez could legitimately beat the best Jared Anderson that I've ever seen. Now the Jared Anderson that has improved and who's better, today's Jared Anderson, I don't know what that means. I know that one thing about Jared Anderson is I always respected his aptitude. I respected the fact that he was in the camp with the Shakurs and the Keyshawn Davises and these guys, and that I knew he was in there learning and around greatness. And I knew he was a very athletically gifted heavyweight. He was in heavyweight who brought a lot of slickness about him, a lot of, intangibles that most heavyweights don't have. And it made the biggest difference in what his ability was in that ring. He has a very high ceiling. I also know he punches like hell. Like he punches really hard. So that makes him who he is. But Frank Sanchez is just a boxer's boxer, and he has a great corner with Eddie Reynoso and those guys. Like, he has a great team around him. And that fight is going to be competitive even on the highest level of Jared Anderson. I think he can win it though. And I'm all of this that I'm saying says one thing. If anybody wants to know, if Jared Anderson beats Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, in my opinion, is the face of American boxing again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right then and there.
Absolutely.
He jumps right
absolutely.
back into the driver's seat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you beat Frank Sanchez as good as Frank Sanchez is, and us who actually know who, again, an uninjured Frank Sanchez, you beat that guy, you deserve the title shot against Usyk, and I hope you get it, man. I hope you get it.
He's the face of American boxing, bro. Like, if he does that, because you got to be back, because you're not going to beat Frank Sanchez half-ass and not wanting to be there, unmotivated and not wanting to box anymore and just doing it just for a paycheck. If you go in the ring with that mentality, Frank is going to serve you up and get you out the way, bro,
right,
and go get a title shot. So I'm looking forward to see that.
And again, guys, don't get it twisted. We want Jared Anderson to do well because he's one of the young heavyweights, right? Still under 30. So if we have a heavyweight scenario now where we got Jared Anderson, who's the IBF eliminator now, or he's the IBF mandatory, and then you have Fabio Wardley, who's now the WBO champion. He's only 30 years old. Then you got Moses Italma, who's only, what is he, 21 or 20? Is he still 20? Or is he 21 now? I don't know if he turned 21 yet, but I know that he was supposed to try to be the youngest, which he won't get a chance to do. But he's either 20 or 21. Man, bro, the heavyweight division looks good, Clay. Looks good for young heavyweights I'm talking about.
Yeah. Something just happened here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I know we're still live.
You see me?
Yeah, I see the list. I see you put the pound for pound list, Clay.
The computer just did something. I hope we are still live. I feel like I'm frozen.
Let me. Yeah. You froze for a little bit. I know that you froze for a bit, and then on YouTube, nope. On YouTube, we are definitely still live. Everybody can hear us. We are definitely still live on right now on YouTube. So
yeah, I don't know what happened, bro. I don't know. This internet's been acting crazy, but I feel like I'm back now.
Yeah. You're back now.
Yeah.
We're all back.
It is what
we're
it is,
back.
man.
Yeah.
I also wanted to dive a little bit into the SUBRIEL MATIAS situation and this PD issue going on right now. So SUBRIEL MATIAS, performance enhancement drugs, and there's two parts. I'm split on this topic, right? And the reason I'm split on this topic because there's one part that's kind of getting frustrated with all of the performance enhancement drug issues we've been seeing happening this year, but there's another part of me that's also happy and relieved because what it also means is that the system is working. You understand what I'm saying? It means that people are starting to realize there's less room for cheating, that you're getting caught. Things that people were used to just getting away with, obviously, because this performance enhancement drug thing isn't just new. It's not like, what's going on? Everybody using performance enhancement drugs now. It's crazy. No, they've been doing this. What's happening is they're being caught. But I wanted to know, from your perspective, how you're seeing this right now unfold and where's your mind at on this whole entire people just constantly popping and getting caught up, and how you feel about it at this point. Especially considering the fact that SUBRIEL MATIAS arguably killed somebody in the ring, right? Or somebody.
Yeah, he did. He did kill somebody in the ring. He killed Dadashev in the ring.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, it was the Dadashev fight. Buddy McGirt stopped the fight, but because of those injuries, Dadashev, that's the one of the fights I was telling you about, that I was afraid what happened with Jake Paul, right? That's what I was trying to say, is that happened on national ESPN, but there wasn't no 100 million people watching it globally. That's different if that happens to Jake Paul. And again, we'll talk about that at some point. But I am genuinely concerned, man. I really am. Unless there's some stipulation on that contract that says, hey, Anthony, you can't, you got to hold them up at least 6 rounds or something like that. I don't know. I'm not trying to get the channel sued. Anyways,
please, thank you. Thank you, please.
Yeah. But in terms of, have a lot of these PDs been there anyways? I'm probably, you know what I mean, right? It's like, I guess it's one of these things where you're either let everybody go ahead and do whatever they want, or be really adamant about punishing people, like how Conor Benn got punished. It took away 2 years of his life, right? Don't do a weak punishment for it, right? Don't do that. Do a for real punishment. At the end of the day, man, you know what, SUBRIEL MATIAS, I don't know what to tell you, bro. If you needed all of that to barely and arguably get a win against Puello, I thought Puello won anyways. I thought Puello would be the champ anyways.
Obviously, it's not just Puello, because I think SUBRIEL MATIAS has always been questioned about his ability
if he's doing it or not, right?
And also to operate with that intensity in the late rounds, bringing that volume,
Right.
punching that pressure. It was like he was always looked at like, damn, that dude's just different. But it turns out, yeah,
Right.
he is, maybe because
of that.
right.
Right.
Is that why
Right.
he's looking like that?
I mean, you know, Fernando Vargas was on it, guys, and Fernando Vargas lost to Oscar De La Hoya, and he never really looked the same after. So, again, what do you guys want me to tell you? All I'll say is that Matias, hopefully the New York State Athletic Commission does to him at the very least what they did to Ryan. At least, right? Hey, you can't fight for a whole year. But maybe do to him what they did to Conor Benn and pretty much take away a good chunk of his career out, right?
I think that's what they need to do across the board with this PED stuff, bro. I think they need to suspend people for legitimately
big time.
derail them, so when they return, they should be damn near like resetting themselves to fight back to get in there. They shouldn't be able to just come in and take off where they left from. You know,
right.
The Ryan Garcia situation was just like, bro, Ryan was probably not going to fight in another year anyway, right?
Right.
It's like a super weak formality to something that he was going to do any damn way. What kind of punishment was that in real time?
Right.
You hit Ryan over the head with like a 3-year suspension.
Right.
You feel me? And then he had to come
then
back and really
then it would stop it, right? But then again, you're talking about a bigger conversation because the NFL will suspend you for what? Maybe 8 games, right? Like at the most, I think. Right. And then you're still making your millions of dollars that you're going to make after that. So, you know, like that's not enough to end your career. And that's with you playing football and you got caught with PEDs, right? You know, so but I mean, I agree with you, Clay. I think that boxing, they definitely need to do something about it, which I think they are. I guess we'll see what happens. I think the biggest punishment, honestly, is always going to be if you get blacked out, you know, in terms of, all right, well, SUBRIEL Matias not only cannot fight for the next year, but even after that, let's say what happens to him is what happened to Ryan. Is SUBRIEL Matias, bro, really that popular that a year from now people are going to care about? You know, he might end up just being an opponent at that point. Yeah. Like somebody who's just going to get beat up, you know, instead of regaining his championship status back. Let's not forget that I think SUBRIEL Matias is already 30. I'm going to check the age, but yeah, I think he's like 30 or 31. He's already up there. So he done messed up, man. He done messed up, SUBRIEL.
And then he play some time in jail or something like that? I don't know his story.
Yeah, he's 33, bro. So like right now he's 33. If let's say he gets suspended all the way up till let's say he's 35 is when he's going to fight again, man. I mean, you know, I think that as long as they hold, if it is what it is, I just want to see Dalton Smith get a shot. In fact, Richardson Hitchens, if you want it that bad, bro, do a unification with Dalton Smith, who has a date right now coming up in January. Then you won't have to worry about no weight clauses or anything like that. But yeah, man, you know, PEDs across the board is wrong. So if it's against the rules, you shouldn't do it. If it's against the rules, you just shouldn't do it. But again, like you said, Clay, there's the ones who get away with it, and then the ones who don't. Sometimes your meat can be tainted.
I mean, listen, man, you make the consequences more severe, and I think you see this issue start to dissipate. It will never go away completely, but you'll see a lot of incentive there. If you hit them with the right punishment, you'll make people think twice.
Right.
You know, at least because it doesn't even seem like they're thinking twice now. It seems like they're going for it, and they're more than likely getting away with it. So that's why they keep going for it. So.
Right. Right. Well, hopefully Eddie Hearn does what he does, and Dalton Smith still gets to fight in January for the WBC.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be Dalton Smith and Alberto Puello. So it looks like that's what's about to happen. So
hopefully.
All right, guys, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you guys showing up, man. You already know what it is, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. I haven't asked you guys to hit the like button at all, so I appreciate the people who did hit the like button. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. You already know what it is. It's your boy Claymore. It's at ATP Combat Media Show. It's the boxing take, by the way. If you didn't notice, I have it on there. It's the boxing take. We talking about everything boxing here. Shout out to all the winners this past weekend. Devin Haney, the man of the month, the man of the year at this point, right? The biggest comeback. Give him all his flowers. Very excited to see what he does moving forward in his career. salute to him. Salute to Bill Haney, man. Those guys deserve to be respected at the highest level, bro. And that's pretty much where it ends with that. Right?
Yeah,
Like it's just the truth. Respect.
Yeah, and salute to Benavidez, salute to Bam Rodriguez,
Yeah,
salute to Abdullah Mason. American boxing, USA boxing is at its finest right now. We have a lot of young champions, and hopefully mainstream media starts to show them at some point, bro. I'd like to see a TMZ that talks about Abdullah Mason or Benavidez or Bam Rodriguez rather than what we saw today, which had to do with strip clubs and Tank. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Salute to those guys for sure, man. And Brian Norman, man, salute to you, family. Revisit. I think on the foundation level, you got a lot to build on. I think the career is still young. Clearly, you're a young fighter. I think there's a lot in front of you in comparison to what's behind you. But humility, adjustments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like bring in the team management,
humbleness.
What you gotta do, man. Don't be so prideful that, hey, bro, it is what it is at this point. You bet on yourself. Listen, be honest with what happened that night. Be honest about the reason it happened and address those issues head on. And I'll be excited to see what your next fight is going to be and what it's going to look like. It's your boy Ryan. It's the ATP Combat Media Show. You already know how we carrying it. It's your boy Reyes. Until the next one, at this point, we out.
They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot. Wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand.